Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's a beautiful day here in Florida, which means it's a great day for baseball. The players are getting ready for this afternoon's ball game, which, by the way, is presented by Verizon Fios. As today, it'll be the Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. Hi, everybody. Ken Singleton along with John Flaherty. Flash making his debut, his spring debut. And, of course, that means we've got baseball for you coming up in just a few moments. Well, every team has injuries during the course of the year, and in spring training, the Yankees have had a couple already. Phil Hughes is bothered by a bad neck. You got Kevin Youkilis with a rib cage injury, but the one that really hurt Flash, Curtis Granderson's going to be out for 10 weeks.
Well, Curtis Granderson in his first at-bat in spring training on Sunday takes a fastball off of his right forearm. It didn't look all that bad, but like you said, Kenny, turns out to be 10 weeks, which will be probably 5 weeks of the regular season. The Yankees have to find a way to replace a guy who hit over 40 home runs and drove in over 100 RBIs. It'll be a big loss.
There are a lot of youngsters in camp for the Yankees, but these are two veteran options that the Yankees have. You have Juan Rivera, 10-year veteran. He's been with the Yankees before. You also have Matt Diaz, who's been around the major leagues. He's played a lot for the Atlanta Braves. Let's check out today's Verizon Fios pitching matchup. For the Baltimore Orioles, it's going to be a veteran right-hander, Jake Arrieta, who's always pitched well against the Yankees. And for the Yankees, a pitcher out of their minor league system, hard-throwing left-hander Nick Turley gets the start this afternoon. We come back, we're going to have baseball. You've got the players getting ready once again. It's getting ready for a long season. Lineups, first pitch, baseball coming up next. Today's game on Yes is brought to you in part by Tri-Honda. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2013 Accord. By IMG Academy Youth Sports Camps and Private School. Become more at IMG Academy. And by Poland Spring Brand, sourced only from carefully selected natural springs. Born better. Starting out the fans young here, Flash. Thought I saw that young man in the stands. You gave him an autograph, didn't you?
I think I did. I took a picture with him. Good-looking kid.
Yes, he is. Here's the Baltimore Orioles starting lineup presented by Hyundai. At the very top Alexi Casilla, he'll be at second base. Manny Machado will be at third. Connor Jackson is the designated hitter. Steve Pearce will be in left field. He'll bat cleanup. Russ Cancel will be in right. Luke Ford is in center. Danny Valencia is at first base. Ryan Flaherty is at shortstop. And here's the first pitch of the ball game, and Luis Exposito is doing the catching. That is Nick Turley on the mound, 23-year-old left-hander out of the Yankee system. Had a good year last year. Pitched right here at Tampa for most of the season. And his second pitch is high and away. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to Alexi Casilla.
Let's take a look at Turley and his numbers in the minor leagues. Pretty impressive. 10 wins, the ERA at 3.
Right now he can't find the plate. Count goes to 3 balls and no strikes on the leadoff hitter.
Majority of his season was pitching here, like you said, Kenny, in Tampa, the Florida State League. Had a very impressive 2.89 in that league, which led the league.
And that's in their first strike.
We'll take a look at a scouting report on Turley. I mentioned the league leader with that 2.89 ERA in the Florida State League. He'll probably pitch at AA this year. As he walks Casilla, he is a 50th round pick, which is very impressive for the young kids out there. He got drafted late out of high school, took the opportunity, and here he is at big league camp starting a big league spring training game.
Young man from La Cañada, California. Joe Girardi, Yankee manager, on your left, and of course pitching coach Larry Rothschild. Looking at the youngster, just 23 years old. Actually got 1 start at Trenton, and he won that one with 1-0 at AA. Going to check on Casilla, who's been known to steal a base or 2. Orioles got Casilla from the Minnesota Twins, and he is in the running, so to speak, for the second base job if Brian Roberts can't come back from all the injuries. There's a pitch in there for a call strike to Manny Machado. We saw Machado last year. He came up, hit 262, 7 home runs. He was the pride of the Orioles farm system, just 20 years old, and to compare him to a young Alex Rodriguez. And like Rodriguez, he's from Miami. There's a throw, and it's get by Dan Johnson, and the runner's going to be given second base because he got tangled up with Dan Johnson. So Casilla will move down to second. And that will probably go as well. Will it be scored as an error? It has to be.
And we'll take a look at Turley. A pretty good move here, but the throw a little bit wide. Dan Johnson gets locked up with Casilla. He's going to get into second base because of that. But early on, the youngster who pitched an A-ball last year, a leadoff walk, and now a throwing error with a pickoff attempt. Got to believe the nerves are a little bit of a factor, Kenny. A big league spring training start.
Yeah, I would think so. You know, I wonder if Johnson could be given the error because he's the one that got called for getting entangled with the runner. There's that possibility. So Machado's up there. He's got a strike. But Casilla's at second base on the error. Trying to hit the ball the other way, and that is one of those tough souvenirs. Let's check out the Yankees on defense. Behind Nick Turley. In left field, it's going to be Brett Gardner. Slade Heathcock is in center. And Zoilo Almonte is in right. Corbin Joseph at third. Russell Nix at short. Robinson Cano at second. Dan Johnson at first. And Chris Stewart doing the catching. Make that Jason Nix at short. Next pitch in the dirt. Knocked down by Stewart. No advance by the runner.
Well, nice play by Chris Stewart. Has an opportunity here in spring training to show what he can do. Obviously, the Yankees know he's a great defender behind the plate. Going to get a lot more playing time this year, it looks like, and he gets a good look at the Nick Turley curveball. And a great job of blocking and keeping it in front.
Another curveball in the dirt. And once again, a pretty good block by Chris Stewart. Well, in the early going here, Nick Turley's having a problem finding home plate. And if you're an Oriole hitter now, you're going to be patient at the plate. Make him throw strikes. Low, ball 3, full count on Manny Machado.
I know Turley's been a little erratic here the first 2 batters, but you have to like his stuff. A fastball about 90 miles an hour for a left-hander is pretty good, and the curveball looks outstanding as Joe Girardi and all the coaches watching. A nice opportunity for a kid who pitched an A-ball last year.
Here's the payoff pitch on the way, and it's hit on the ground towards short and in the hole. Jason Nix has it. No play. Casilla will advance to third. It's going to be an infield single for Manny Machado. Well, if the name Turley sounds familiar, you go back to Bob Turley, who was in the Heroes for the Yankees, World Series hero back in the late 50s. And Nick Turley is actually related to Bob Turley. Very distant relative. And here is the resume on Nick Turley. And you go back to 1958. Bob Turley was the MVP of the World Series that year when the Yankees beat the Braves in 7 games. Kind of a bounce back because they had lost to the Braves in 7 games the year before. Pitch to Connor Jackson is up high for ball 1.
Young Nick Turley will trade an out for that run at third base. He's just trying to get an out here and settle himself down. First and third, nobody out. Trying to pitch out of a little bit of trouble.
Line drive, center field, base hit, and Baltimore's on the board. Casilla will score, and it's 1-0 Orioles. Connor Jackson with a solid single to center field.
Well, Connor Jackson, a veteran major league hitter. A nice time out in Arizona, trying to get himself back to the big leagues, fight for a job here in Baltimore, and he gets a 1-0 fastball right down Broadway. Knows exactly what to do with it. Nice piece of hitting right back up the middle. And Larry Rothschild's going to come out and have a little conversation, trying to settle down his young lefty.
What can a catcher say in this situation, Fight? I can see Chris Stewart not saying much of anything.
No, I think this is a situation, if you're catching Chris Stewart, you try to go to the off-speed pitches a little bit more early on to settle a young pitcher down, kind of find his mechanics, and we saw that with Machado up there, a couple of curveballs in the dirt. But this is what Chris Stewart is known for, a veteran guy behind the plate who can work with his staff. He's going to try to coax this young lefty through this first inning.
Here's the cleanup hitter. Steve Pearce will be up there now with 2 on, nobody out. The Orioles have scored. Pearce spent some time with the Yankees last year. They used him as a right-handed bat off the bench. Plays several positions, outfield, first base. First pitch is in there for a call strike.
There you go, Kenny. A little first pitch changeup right there. I'm sure that was part of that conversation. Let's go to the off-speed changeup and curveballs a little bit more.
That's what Pearce did last year, playing for 3 clubs, the Yankees, Orioles, and Houston. That pitch is high, and it's a ball and a strike. When you look up and down the Orioles lineup today, it's not the lineup that you're used to seeing. Maybe the only starter in the lineup is Manny Machado. Pitch is low for a ball. Ryan Flaherty is one of those players who he can play second, short, first in the outfield, so he might be in there from time to time. But that's about it.
A Rule 5 pick last year. Flaherty did a nice job and started some playoff baseball, so his confidence has risen this spring. A chance to make this club.
Hit high in the air, fairly deep right center field. On the move is Heathcott, and he won't get it. Ball bounces once to the warning track. They're going to wave the runner home from second. That's Machado. He will score. It'll be a run-scoring double for Steve Pearce, and it's 2-0 Baltimore.
Well, Joe Girardi watching this first inning, and it has not been pretty. As Pearce gets a fastball out over the plate, just drives it to right center field. Heathcott in center field had a little, I don't think he thought this ball was going to carry as much as it did.
We were talking about the game that the wind is kind of blowing straight out today, so anything hit to the outfield is going to get a boost. So 2-0 Baltimore. They've gotten 3 straight hits after an opening walk. Here's Russ Kanzler. Swing and a miss on a curveball. Kanzler was signed off waivers. The Orioles picked him up. The Yankees put him on waivers, and the Orioles picked him up. Some good numbers in the minor leagues last year with 22 home runs. That's inside, and it's a ball and a strike. So Nick Turley looking for his first out here in the first inning.
It's very unusual for a kid who pitched an A ball to start a big league spring training game. Usually they'll come out of the bullpen.
Ground ball towards short. Jason Nix to his left, up with it. The throw is high, and it's off the glove of Johnson. 1 run is scored, and now another, and the Orioles lead it 4-0. Jackson and Pierce score on the play. And I believe that's going to be an error on the shortstop.
Well, very unusual for Jason Nix, a steady glove guy for the Yankees last year. Pretty much a routine ground ball to short, and the throw a little bit wide and high. It's been an ugly first inning here for the New York Yankees.
So Kanzler will get 1 run batted in. The other run scores on the error. And Kanzler moves down to second, and it brings up Lou Ford. Fouled at the plate, fouled off the front foot of Ford.
See, right off of that front foot, it looked like it got a piece of the dirt beforehand. So hopefully for Lou Ford, that's not going to leave a mark. It's the last thing you want to happen in spring training, get beat up at the beginning and fight injuries all spring.
Flip gap that goes behind Ford and all the way to the backstop, and on the play, Kanzler's going to move to third on the wild pitch. Can anything else go wrong for the Yankees here in the top of the first inning?
Chris Stewart going to go out and have another conversation. We get another look at the fastball. It's supposed to be on the inner half. It goes behind Lou Ford. And this is snowballing a little bit on Hurley, the left-hander. Got off to a rough start walking the leadoff hitter, Casilla. 3 base hits in a row. An error. Joe Girardi watching.
Still nobody out, and Baltimore has 4 runs in here in the top of the first inning. Swing and a miss. Looked like a changeup, and it's a ball of 2 strikes.
You see the pitch count as well, 23 pitches, and obviously Turley, one of your prospects in the minor leagues. I'm sure Joe Girardi and the staff are going to protect him a little bit.
Well, he's supposed to go at least 2 innings to start the game. That might not be the case after this inning. In the dirt, knocked down by Stewart. The ball gets away, and here comes Kanzler to score, and it's now 5-0. Another wild pitch.
We saw that curveball earlier in the inning, and it is a plus pitch for Turley, but obviously does not have a good feel for it here this afternoon. And this is a lawn dart. Chris Stewart tries to stay in front with it. Tough play. Another run scores.
Well, now nobody on base, and the count is 2-2 on Lou Ford. And he fouls it at the plate, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, there have been a couple of wild pitches, a couple of errors, a walk, and 3 hits that have led to 5 runs. Swing and a miss, and he picks up his first out as Lou Ford is struck out. And the Yankee fans with somewhat of a Bronx cheer.
Looks like the changeup. And a pretty good one. It fools Lou Ford. He's way out in front. Maybe the young lefty can relax a little bit, recording his first out on a strikeout, and Larry Rothschild again out to the mound.
So that means we're going to have a pitching change. It's going to be a right-hander coming in the ball game as Nick Turley out of the game. Orioles lead 5-0. We'll be right back. Hey, Yankee fans, individual game tickets for the 2013 season at Yankee Stadium are on sale as part of the pre-on sale exclusively for MasterCard holders. From now through Sunday, March 3rd at 10 p.m. To use your MasterCard to purchase tickets, visit Yankees.com/priceless or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. The new Yankee pitcher in the ballgame is going to be the right-hander Cody Epley. Did a good job for the Yankees out of the bullpen last year. 59 ball games. Very good earned run average. Opponents hit .266 against the side-wielding right-hander. And he'll take over for Nick Turley, who left after just 1/3 of an inning and 5 runs.
26 pitches, I think the Yankee coaching staff protecting him a little bit.
Danny Valencia is at the plate. He's playing first base today. And he takes the first pitch just outside, ball 1. Valencia, Minnesota and Boston, 44 games a year ago. Swing and a miss, and the count evens at 1-1. Let's look at the game time weather conditions brought to you by Toyota. And as we mentioned, it's a lovely day here in Tampa. 71 degrees, partly cloudy. In the Bronx this afternoon, 47. That's not bad. Mostly cloudy. That pitch is low. It's 2 balls and a strike.
A lot of rain back home in New York today. That's word on the street. Yep.
Your grass will be greener when you get home, Flash.
Well, trying to get rid of all that snow. It's nice to get down here to the warm weather.
You still got some?
Yeah, plenty.
Maybe the rain will wash it away. Epley deals and the pitch is foul down the third base side.
Valencia fighting for a spot on this Baltimore club. Orioles looking for a backup first baseman for Chris Davis. Preferably somebody who could hit from the right side. Buck Showalter has his team pretty much set this spring.
That's in there for a call, strike 3, and they're 2 down. So Epley comes in, strikes out the first man he faces.
Cody Epley looks in midseason form here early in spring training. Dots a fastball on the outside corner. Runs back a little bit. A nice frame by Chris Stewart. Gets a call.
Here is Ryan Flaherty. And today he's playing at shortstop. The Orioles want to see if he can handle this position. They know he can play second. They know he can play first. And they also know he can play the outfield. Very versatile player. Flashy was a Rule 5 player last year from the Cubs organization. Swings at the first pitch, bounding ball to Dan Johnson. He'll step on the bag. And that's going to be it. The Orioles sent 8 men to the plate here in the top half of the first inning and take a 5-0 lead. Get their chance here in the bottom of the first inning. You saw a glimpse of Brett Gardner. He'll be heading into the dugout, now back out. He'll be leading off for the Yankees as we take a look at their starting lineup. He'll be in left field today. Jason Nix will be at shortstop. Robinson Cano at second. Juan Rivera will be the designated hitter with Dan Johnson at first base. Zoilo Almonte in right field. Yankees like him. Slade Heathcock in center. He's got some tools. Chris Stewart will be doing the catching, and Corbin Joseph batting ninth will be at third base. And they'll be facing a hard-throwing right-hander.
Jake Arrieta will start for Baltimore this afternoon as Brett Gardner getting ready on deck, and we'll look at his numbers from last year. 18 starts in 24 games, and the ERA inflated at 6.20. Take a look at our scouting report. It was a miserable 2012 for Arrieta. He actually was the opening day starter for Baltimore and ended up in the minor leagues and then came back and pitched out of the bullpen. but he has big-time stuff. 93, 94 miles an hour, a big curveball and a slider, and he's fighting for one spot in that rotation. If he doesn't get it, obviously the opportunity to pitch out of the bullpen.
Well, the Orioles have Jason Hamill, Wei-Yin Chen, Miguel Gonzalez, and Chris Tillman slated for the first four slots. There's manager Buck Showalter. The Orioles actually have a doubleheader, a day-night doubleheader. They train in Sarasota, Florida, about an hour south of here. Tonight they'll be hosting the Boston Red Sox. It's not often you get to play the Yankees and the Red Sox on the same day. Here's Brett Gardner. And he'll be leading it off for the Yankees. They had a 3-for-3 game down in Sarasota 2 days ago. 2 infield hits, including a beautiful bunt single. He dropped in front of Manny Machado. Machado in on the grass at third. Here's Arrieta's first pitch to the bottom of the first inning, and it is inside for ball 1.
Well, Brett said that bunt base hit, that's going to be part of his game as you see Machado in on the grass at third. The Yankees just hoping that Brett can stay healthy this year. Playing left field today, but it sounds like he's going to be the center fielder.
Foul tipped into the glove of Exposito, and it's a ball and a strike. One of the other hits that Gardner had in Sarasota was an infield single. He beat the pitcher to first base, but he did so by sliding headlong into the bag, and manager Joe Girardi was not too thrilled with that. Pitch is high for a ball, and it's 2 balls and a strike. 96 miles an hour. Arrieta does have a big arm, as Flash said. Joe said Gardner's on his own as far as stealing bases, but he doesn't want him doing a headlong dives into first. That pitch is in there for a strike, and it's 2-2.
Well, and Brett understood what Joe Girardi was talking about, but sometimes those instincts take over. You're fighting for an infield base hit. You'll do anything to get there. Luckily, he was not hurt. We'll see if he can tone that down the rest of the spring.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch is fouled off. Arrieta's first major league win was at the expense of the Yankees. He beat them in Baltimore on June 10th, 2010. That was his major league debut, and he beat the Yankees that evening at Camden Yards. Just something about Arrieta, he just can't seem to fine-tune his motion. He's all over the place from time to time. Pitch is in the dirt. The count goes full at 3-2.
Well, if you're a scout in the stands, though, and you're rating his stuff, I mean, it is above average with all of his pitches. The fastball we've seen at 96 early in this game. A big-time power curveball and a slider. Like you said, Kenny, Baltimore just kind of waiting for it to click in where he can be a dominant starter.
Full count, the pitch is low, and Gardner is on. Baltimore defensively behind Arrieta this afternoon. In left field, it is Steve Pearce. In center, Lou Ford. Russ Kanzler is in right. Manny Machado, the youngster, at third. Ryan Flaherty at short. Alexei Casilla at second. Danny Valencia at first. And Luis Exposito doing the catching. When you usually look at the Oriole lineup, they've got names like Reimold and Jones and Markakis in the outfield. Weeder's catching. Pitch is low to Jason Nix, ball 1. J.J. Hardy at short. Brian Roberts trying to make a comeback at second. You mentioned Chris Davis at first. I have a feeling those guys will be in the lineup tonight against the Boston Red Sox. Bouncing ball towards the middle. This could be 2. Flaherty, the second, then on the first, and there's a double play. Tailor-made double play ball, and the Orioles turn at 6-4-3.
Well, pitcher's best friend, a little leadoff walk to Brett Gardner, and then a routine 6-4-3 double play. You mentioned Flaherty can play all over the infield, does a nice job with a routine flip to Casilla. 2 quick outs for Arrieta.
Here is Robinson Cano batting in the third slot. Robbie last year, a .313 hitter, 33 home runs. That's a career high. First pitch is over outside, ball 1. During batting practice today, I don't know if you were watching him, Flash, Cano put on a show. He hit about 6 in a row into the seats in right field. And Chris Stewart was in his group, and Chris said, "Don't worry, you'll get it one day." That pitch is swung on and missed, and it's 1-1.
Well, a good test for Robinson this afternoon. I mean, you feel good in batting practice. You take live batting practice off of some of your own pitchers. But you face a guy like Arrieta who can dial it up 95, 96. We'll see where your bat speed is. Robinson playing in the WBC, so he's trying to get his stroke ready early this spring.
A little late on the fastball and it's fouled back. Well, of course, spring training got underway a little earlier this year because of the World Baseball Classic. And as you mentioned, several players will be leading. Some of the Yankee minor leaguers playing for their respective countries. Robinson Cano going to play on the Dominican Republic team. Mark Teixeira will be playing for the U.S. team. Tony Pena is going to manage the Dominican Republic team. Tony had some interesting insights about the WBC. Pitches fouled in the dirt. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes. In fact, Tony said that at this time of season, it might be better to have players who are contact hitters and are speed guys, because he feels the power hitters really don't have their stroke together as of yet, and might be have a better chance of winning with those type of players.
Well, not even the power hitters. All hitters in general in spring training are always behind the pitchers.
Bouncing ball towards the middle. Flaherty behind the bags. A long throw, and it's in time to get Cano. The Yankees retired here in the first inning. At the end of 1, it is 5-0 Baltimore. We're back, and while we have a chance, let's check out the Mazda upcoming schedule. Several games upcoming here on Yes, including tomorrow afternoon when the Toronto Blue Jays will be here, followed by the Philadelphia Phillies, and then the Detroit Tigers. Then the Yankees hit the road. They're going to Fort Myers. And they'll be taking on the Boston Red Sox. So, including this game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row on Yes. And Flash, you got them all.
I got them all. You never play 5 games in a row at the beginning of spring training, but I guess I will.
Here's Luis Exposito, the catcher, the only Oriole not to hit in the top of the first inning. And he swings and misses at Dakota Epley serving, and it's strike 1. Fort Myers is nice this time of year.
Yeah, it's nice to watch from your living room. You'll be watching that one, right?
I'll be home, yes.
It's a nice little stretch, though. The Yankees get a look at Baltimore, who obviously had a great year last year. They'll see Toronto, be another division opponent, and obviously the Red Sox. So nice little stretch here.
Low inside ball, too. What do you think about the fact that all the teams in the American League East are on the west coast of Florida now, and you get a chance to see each other? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I think these teams know everything they need to know about each other anyway. But you get a look at maybe some of the prospects from some of the organizations that might come up and impact a pennant race during the summer.
Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. You know, teams within the division usually don't make trades with each other. There's Buck Showalter, former Yankee manager, now saw his Orioles finish just 2 games behind Joe Girardi last year. The Orioles had a great season and won 93 games. Bouncing ball foul. The Yankees actually clinched the division on the last day of the season when they won and the Orioles lost.
Well, the question around baseball, can they do it again, Baltimore? Obviously winning a bunch of one-run games, extra inning games. A lot of things went right. They're very confident they're going to be right in this race in the American League East.
2-2 to count on Exposito, and he swings and misses strike 3. So Epley's second strikeout. Here's the season recap on the Orioles. Second in American League East, first playoff berth since 1997. 29-9 in one-run games. That is a major league record, best percentage ever. 75-1 when leading after 8 innings. They had a good bullpen. 16 straight extra inning wins, longest streak since the 49 Indians. But they lost to the Yankees in a tough-fought 5-game division series. Pitch is in there for a called strike. Back to the top of the order, and Alexis Casilla. Now, one reason the Yankees were able to win that series, neither team really hit the ball well. And I think it's because the Yankees' ball is hitting the air to center field. Heathcott drifting back. He's there. Will make the catch, and there's 2 outs. Because the Yankees had the one player who made the big difference, and that was CC Sabathia. He won the first game, and he won the 5th game.
Well, it's exactly right. And I think if there's one weakness when you look at Baltimore, and you mentioned their rotation, they just don't have that #1 dominant guy at the top who, like CC Sabathia, you can look forward to him winning his starts during the regular season, but also being productive in the postseason, and that was the difference.
Yeah, the Orioles have not developed a #1 starter going back to Mike Mussina. But they do have a youngster pitching today. He's supposed to be second on the mound for them, who's going to be that #1 guy. Pitches outside of Machado for ball 1. And that is Dylan Bundy. We will see him this afternoon. That pitch is low, ball 2. Now, I saw Bundy as the Orioles were coming out to stretch, and I know they're not going to bring him up here if he's not going to pitch. So he is scheduled to be the #2 starter for Buck Showalter this afternoon. And the Orioles, well, they think very highly of their former #1 draft pick. And so do a lot of other people around baseball. 2-0 pitch, and it's ball 3. Manny Machado, born in Hialeah, Florida, first-round pick, 2010. Made his debut August 9th of last year. 2 for 4 with a triple running against the Royals. In his second game in the big leagues, he hit 2 home runs. Pitches outside, and that's ball 4, and he's on for the second time. Youngest Oriole ever hit 2 home runs in a game.
Well, Buck Showalter looking forward to watching him play third base every day this year. The Baltimore really did not do anything in the offseason to better themselves, but they will have Machado for a full year.
Yeah.
Markakis was hurt at the end of the year last year. You hope that he's going to come back healthy. And then Brian Roberts, who's been really beat up for the last couple of years, looks good early in spring training. So a couple of guys maybe going to get full years, and that can help.
Low and inside to Connor Jackson, who had a single and a run batted in and a run scored in the first inning. For those of you just joining us, Baltimore broke out against young Nick Turley, scoring 5 runs on 3 hits. There are also a few wild pitches and a couple of errors. Kind of rocky top of the first for the Orioles. For the Yankees, I should say. The Orioles broke out 5-0. Machado's at first with 2 outs. That's in their first strike. Cody Epley took over in the bottom of the first and got 2 outs, and is now into his second inning of work. On the ground, and it is a fair ball down the third base line. Ball bounds off, and it's going to be Gardner getting in. The throw to second is not in time, and Jackson has his second hit. He now has a single to go along with this double.
Jackson has covered a few different zones in both at bats off of Turley. He had a fastball up out over the plate and drove it right back up the middle. Here is an Epley sinker down and in. He just beats him to the spot, hits a rocket down the third base line.
You can see Corbin Joseph didn't have much of a chance to flag that one down. Gardner playing the carom in left field. Second and third, 2 down, and here's Steve Pearce, who had a double and a run batted in the first inning. There's that sinking fastball at the knees for a called strike.
We saw Pierce a little bit last year with the Yankees. He likes the ball out over the plate, extend his arms. Had an RBI double to right center. Cody Epley and Chris Stewart, you can really pound him inside with a sinking fastball and go sliders away.
Once again, a pitch in the dirt. Good stop by Stewart. The count is a ball and a strike on Steve Pierce. So far, somewhat of a subdued crowd here at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Yankees trailing 5-0. Here's that sinker bounced in the dirt, foul. Joe Girardi saw his team lose yesterday over in Clearwater to the Phillies 4-3. In that game, Ichiro had a big game. He had 3 hits, 3 for 3. Mark Teixeira drove in a run with a double. Ground ball towards the middle. This is going to be in the center field for a base hit. Baltimore is going to get 2 more runs, and they now take a 7-0 lead. Steve Pierce now with 3 runs batted in on the afternoon. He's 2 for 2.
Cody Epley looked like he had it all figured out until that walk of Machado, a base hit or a double to Connor Jackson. Now an RBI base hit right back up the middle. Pierce doing a good job shortening up on a swing, just putting it in play.
And for the second straight inning, we're going to have a pitching change. New pitcher coming in to take over for Cody Epley here in the second inning. Baltimore scored a couple of more and now leads 7-0.
But once I got into pro ball, you kind of understand the business side of it, and what a great organization the Yankees were. So when I became a free agent, the one team that I wanted to sign with was the Yankees.
And there he is. Matt Daly will come on. We saw him pitch on Sunday, and he had a good outing. Pitched an inning, gave up a hit, 2 strikeouts, no walks. And see what the Colorado Rockies in 2011. Missed all of last year with a shoulder issue, and born in Queens, went to Garden City High School, so he's out on the island. And he comes on, and he'll face Russ Kanzler, who reached on an error and scored a run and had an RBI in the first inning. Daly with a bit of an unorthodox delivery. You can see where he could be pretty tough on right-handers.
And guys like Daly who come into camp, you know, the opportunities might be few and far in between. You don't have the luxury of getting yourself in shape. You got to take advantage of a situation here.
Ball is popped foul. This is going to head over the Yankee. No play for Johnson. Over the Yankee dugout and into the seats.
you're Matt Daly and you watch this delivery, he kind of squats down a little bit, legs close together. A little 3/4 sidearm delivery. Not quite sidearm, but a little lower arm angle. And if you're Daly, your job coming into spring training is to make sure the coaching staff remembers you. In case they need somebody when you're in the minor leagues later on, you hope your name is going to be called.
Right underneath the hands of Kanzler for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Well, that's been the route that several pitchers have, and position players for that matter, have taken back to the big leagues. They really don't have much of a chance to make a team in spring training. They go down to AAA, get off to a good start. A need comes for the major league club, and all of a sudden they call your name. 3 balls and a strike on Kanzler.
Yeah, you want Joe Girardi to remember what you did in spring training being positive, so that if a situation arises during the year, the first thought in his mind is, you know what, that Daly kid did a pretty good job in spring training. Let's get a look at him.
Ball is popped up. This time Johnson might have a play. Coming over near the Yankee dugout. This one's going to head. It's on top of the dugout and then back into the seats. And now the count is full on Kanzler. So Dale, what do you say? You grew up a Met fan? Once you turn pro, you realize, well, there's 30 teams in the big leagues. I might not get to play for my favorite team.
Yeah, you become a big league fan, right? Just get a big league job.
3-2 pitch to Kanzler, and it is just outside for ball 4. He draws a walk. So the inning will continue.
Well, as Joe Girardi is watching Daly work here, you can see the velocity not overly impressive, but with that little unorthodox delivery, the ball looks like it sneaks up on the righties a little bit.
Here's Lou Ford, who was the first Oriole out in the first inning. 5 consecutive hitters got on base and scored. There's a pitch in there for a strike to Ford. Ford was struck out by Nick Turley. The only out that the youngster recorded.
You see CC Sabathia hanging on the top rail with all the other Yankee teammates watching the American League East opponent.
Inside for a ball. CC yet to make his spring debut. That's coming up in the near future. The good news is he says he feels pretty good, and his bullpens have after that elbow issue, which was cleaned up after the season was over, surgery. Swing and a miss to Ford. Ball at 2 strikes. Was it just a bone spur, correct?
I believe so. And you know what? I actually had some bone chips taken out during my career, and it's just more annoying, Kenny. You know, when you have them in there and you're CC Sabathia and you can't really extend. It's not something that really hinders you, but it's always on your mind and more of an annoyance.
The 1-2 pitch, and it's bounced towards third. Joseph to Cano for the force, and that'll do it for Baltimore here in the top of the 7th. But they scored 2 more runs. We've played an inning and a half here in Tampa, Florida. Baltimore out in front, 7-0. Yankee fans, if you want to guarantee you'll have a seat on opening day, get the new 12-game opening day ticket plan. Get 12 great games, including opening day. Plans are available in a variety of locations, so purchase your opening day 12-game ticket plan today by calling 212-YANKEES or visiting Yankees.com. Opening day will be here before you know it. Yankees and the Boston Red Sox to open the season at the big ballpark in the Bronx. Here's Juan Rivera. Rivera batting cleanup. He's the designated hitter. He's facing Jake Arrieta. Well, you know it's been a long afternoon when your fourth place hitter is having his first at bat, and the other team's fourth place hitter's already had 2 at bats, 2 hits, and 3 runs batted in. Rivera takes and it's in there for a strike, and it's 1-1 from Arrieta. Juan Rivera came up with the Yankees last few years, been with the Angels, and he is one of the options, although I think now he's more of a DH type as opposed to playing the outfield on an everyday basis.
Well, with the injury to Curtis Granderson, you start thinking and talking about possibilities. Maybe Rivera can play a little left field, known more as a DH at this point in his career.
Takes a pitch outside from Arrieta. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rivera leading it off here. Born in Venezuela, signed by the Yankees in 1996 as an amateur free agent. 12 major league seasons. New York, Montreal, Los Angeles, Toronto, and also with the Dodgers. He's been with both LA teams. Pitch is foul down the left field side. 2-2. Pitch hit on the ground. It's going to be a tough play for the shortstop. Flaherty with the long throw, and he got him. Ryan Flaherty. Well, the Orioles are hoping he could play some shortstop. He played a whole lot of shortstop on this play.
Well, breaking ball up in the zone, gets pulled in the hole, and Juan Rivera doesn't run that well anymore, but still a great play by Flaherty, who Buck Showalter, manager of the Orioles, was saying came into camp with so much more confidence this year than he had last year as a Rule 5 pick, showing a strong throwing arm and a very athletic play.
Here's Dan Johnson. Arrieta's first pitch is up high for ball 1. We talked about Arrieta struggling with his control and mechanics. I think it was last year. I was talking to Lauro Hershiser, and he said that the Orioles invited him to watch Arrieta throw a bullpen. This pitch is fouled back. And Hershiser was impressed with the velocity of Arrieta. And he was wondering, how does anybody ever hit this guy? But he realizes his mechanics were off. Every once in a while his arm slot would change, or his top of the body, he would fall off towards first base time and time again. And correspondingly, his control suffered. Curveball misses. 2 balls and a strike. I don't know what they can do. They're shorten his motion. They did that with Chris Tillman, and it really helped him. He'll make his delivery more compact. There's a called strike, and it's 2-2.
You know, when I watch him mechanically, my first thought was Tanyan Sturtz, which, you know, a big kid who threw hard and pretty much had perfect mechanics, which is a good thing for a pitcher because you're going to stay healthy. The bad thing is sometimes hitters can really see the baseball real early.
Popped up, and this looks like he's going to make the seats. It's going to be out of play for Machado.
And the problem with that is when you throw 95 or 96 and a hitter sees the ball real early out of your hand, it feels like 90-91, which you can pretty much do a nice job taking care of. So a guy like Arrieta, and I remember Tanyan Sturtz making a little adjustment with his front shoulder, making sure it closed off a little bit more, and it gave him a little bit of deception. And the next thing you know, the results were there.
Foul back by Johnson. Tanyan Sturtz did a good job for the Yankees out of the bullpen. We saw a brief shot of Buck Showalter there. Buck finished second in the Manager of the Year voting to Bob Melvin of the Oakland A's. Buck, as he has done in several places, turned the Orioles around. Takes him a little while to do it, but the Orioles really they reversed their record. They were 93 and 69 last year. The year before they were 69 and 93. Look out inside, and the count is that ball 4? Yeah, it is. Johnson has drawn a walk, so he's on with 1 out. Second walk given up by Arrieta. Now here's a youngster who might have an outside shot of taking over for Granderson for a few weeks. Zoilo Almonte out of the Yankee system. That's what he did last year. He also stole 15 bases, so he's got some speed. And he takes a pitch high for ball 1. Almonte is also a switch hitter. And helmet, I know that's not Yogi's helmet. I think a number has become dislodged. He's number 78. That pitch is outside for a ball, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Now, Almonte in the opening exhibition game, well, the Yankees played over against the Braves in Buena Vista, threw a runner out at third and also hit a home run. So it looks like he came to camp ready. Slightly open stance. Hits a ground ball through the right side and into right field for a base hit. Johnson turns at second. When you're down by 7 runs, you're not taking any chances, and he'll stop there. So 2 on with 1 out here in the second inning.
Well, you mentioned Almonte coming into camp ready. Probably did not have an opportunity when camp opened to make this club, but now all of a sudden with Curtis Granderson out, the Yankees talking about a lot of different options, and Almonte's name is definitely in that conversation. Switch hitter to his advantage. You mentioned a strong throwing arm. Picks up another base hit here.
Joe Girardi will be giving some of these youngsters a long look, including the batter at the plate, Slade Heathcott. Takes a pitch in the dirt, and it's low for ball 1. Now Heathcott, this is a really outside chance. He'll probably be a Double-A this year, but the Yankees are going to have a very representative outfield at Double-A Trenton. Heathcott, Mason Williams is scheduled to be there, along with Tyler Austin. So it's going to be a very strong outfield. All 3 of them are good prospects.
You know, Kenny, when you talk about prospects and you want to get a feel for where they're at in their development, there's no better person to talk to than Gene Michael Stick. And I was lucky enough to talk to him behind the batting cage today, and he was raving about Heathcott. Bat speed, has some speed on the bases as well. Really excited about what he can do.
Top 10 Yankee prospects rated by Baseball America. Mason Williams, 21 years old outfielder. Heathcott is second. Gary Sanchez, the catcher, third. There's Tyler Austin. He's fourth. Jose Campos, a pitcher. Brett Marshall, another pitcher. Angelo Gums. And we're going to look at the outfielders in particular here. And this is kid gloves, they call them. Outfield prospects. Baseball America ranks Williams 32nd, Heathcott 63rd, and Tyler Austin 77th. And all 3 of them originally signed by the Yankees.
Yeah, with Heathcott, he's had some problems with shoulder injuries in the past. They just want him to go out and have a healthy season, a full season.
Here's a strike, 2-1.
But even watching him take batting practice today, the ball just sounded a little bit different coming off of his bat. Went to the Arizona Fall League and played really well out there against some of the best prospects in baseball.
Ground ball to the right side. Valencia's up with it, bobbles it a bit, throws the second to get the force. I don't believe they were going to get a double play anyway because Heathcott runs pretty well. But now there's runners at first and third with 2 down. Heathcott reaches on the fielder's choice.
He gets jammed a little bit in Valencia with the Twins. We saw him play third base primarily. Here at first, trying to make this club. Has a little trouble with the handle, but ends up making the play.
You mentioned as a backup first baseman, when you have a 20-year-old third baseman who's going to be probably a star in the league, you're not thinking about getting too many reps at third base. Here's Chris Stewart, his first at bat. First and third, 2 outs for the Yankees here in the second.
See the numbers for Chris last year. Did a nice job behind the plate, and the numbers standing beside it pretty good. 241, a home run. Solid backup.
Swing and a miss, and it's a strike. 0-2. Ball and 2 strikes on Stewart. Yankees trying to get on the board. They trail 7-0. 5 in the first for Baltimore, 2 more in the second. We're in the bottom of the second here in Tampa. Runner goes. The pitch is hit on the ground. And by Machado into left field for a base hit. Heathcott stops at second, and the Yankees are on the board. It's now a 7-1 game. A run-scoring single for Chris Stewart.
Early on in spring training, this is a good sign for Chris Stewart. Saw a couple of fastballs and then gets a hanging breaking ball with 2 strikes. Heathcott on the run. And Stewart just stays on it enough, pounds it through the hole. A 2-out RBI base hit. We saw a lot of that last year from Chris Stewart. Doesn't have a lot of power, but would come through with some big hits.
Buck Showalter's gone to the mound. We're going to have a pitching change for the Baltimore Orioles, as they're bringing a left-hander out of the bullpen. We'll be back. The Yankees trailing 7-1 with 2 outs here in the second. Yankees have scored. They trail 7-1, 2 outs here in the second inning. Baltimore bullpen, they bring out a left-hander. It's going to be T.J. McFarland. And he was acquired by Baltimore in the Rule 5 draft from the Cleveland Indians. And you can see what he did last year in the minors, a record of 16-8. And, you know, teams are looking for pitching. And a lot of times if you're left-handed, that can go a long, long way. So McFarland going to get a chance here. Show what he's all about. The Buck Showalter here in the bottom of the second inning. Corbin Joseph, the third baseman, will come to the plate. Look out, it's inside. Joseph has to back up, and it's ball 1.
Well, you can see what Buck Showalter is thinking here, also bringing in McFarland to face a left-handed hitter, Joseph. He's saying, can this guy be an option out of my bullpen, a Rule 5 player that we would like to keep on our roster? Can he get a lefty out? He's going to find out shortly.
Pitch is fouled off. Now, McFarland was a starting pitcher all last year in the Cleveland system. He went 8-2 with a 2.69 in 10 starts at Akron. Then at Columbus, he went 8-6 in 17 starts.
A lot of times it's tough for a competing ball club like Baltimore to hide a Rule 5 player, but a lefty specialist out of the pen might be able to do it.
Inside again, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Now, they did it last year with Ryan Flaherty. Spent the whole year with the Orioles. They got him out of the Cubs system, and he did a pretty good job for them.
And by hiding a player, I mean Flaherty was like a utility infielder, a bench player. McFarland could be a bullpen guy.
Curveball misses outside, and the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. Now, one thing managers love: pitchers coming out of the bullpen throwing strikes. And if you can't do it, you're going to be pitching for somebody else. 3-1 pitch is on the way, and it's inside, ball 4. So the first batter that McFarland faces, he walks him, and the Yankees now have the bases loaded with 2 outs here in the second.
Manager Buck Showalter looking on. McFarland looks like he has a little deception to his delivery and a pretty good breaking ball, but like you mentioned, Kenny, you can't throw the ball over the plate coming out of the pen. Makes it awfully tough on a big league manager.
You get a chance to face another left-handed hitter here, and it's going to be Brett Gardner. Gardner drew a walk leading off the ball game in the first inning for the Yankees, but was forced at second on a double play ball. Bouncing ball, foul down the first base side. Valencia turns it into a souvenir. Gardner, who appeared in just 16 games for the Yankees last year, did hit .323 in those 16 games. Takes, and that just misses. A ball and a strike. Gardner in these games in the early spring is getting a chance to lead off. Speaking of leadoff, Derek Jeter, we saw him take batting practice today. He hit the ball pretty well, working his way back into the lineup. Should be about 9 or 10 more days. Pitches outside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Bringing the captain along slowly. But I'll tell you, watching him take batting practice, he looked ready with the bat. Spraying line drives all over the field. Bouncing ball, and this is foul. The count levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Speaking of the captain, we have visual proof. He was stretching, smiling, recovering from that fractured left ankle. There he is. He was in the first group, as he usually is here in spring training, with throwing. Won't be long. He'll be back in there. Gardner tried to check his swing, and the count has gone full at 3-2. So the count 3-2 with the bases loaded. The runners will be off and running on this 3-2 pitch to Brett Gardner, who, as he usually does, has run a deep count. 2 years ago, no batter in the league saw more pitchers per at bat than Brett Gardner. The 3-2 pitch. Foul back, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. He is what they like to call pesky up there, Flash. When you're catching, it's hard to put these guys away.
Well, Brett in a pretty good position right now, knows he's going to get a fastball. McFarland struggling with his control. 3-2 with 2 outs. Sit on the fastball and put a good swing on it.
There go the runners, and this ball's hit well to center field. All the runners. Luke Ford still running, going back. He's not going to get it. Ball's over his head, and it rolls all the way to the wall. Gardner to second. He is just coasting into third with a 3-run triple, and it's now a 7-4 ball game.
Well, if you take the guesswork out of pitch selection for a major league hitter, it makes their job so much easier. McFarland gets in trouble. 3-2 count. He's got to come with the fastball, and it's right down the middle, and Brett Gardner knew it was coming and put a good swing on it. Drives it a long way over the head of Lou Ford. And with Brett's speed, it's the one thing that never goes into a slump. He's going to cruise into third base easily with a bases clearing triple.
He's not even running hard.
That's a head first slide.
Here's Jason Nix. And the pitch to Nix hits the outside corner for a strike. So Brett Gardner gave that one a ride. He had a better idea than Ford on that one. It is now a 7-4 ball game. Yankees with 4 runs on 3 hits. Looked like an off-speed pitch, and it missed, and it's 1-1. So McFarland comes in, faces 2 lefties, gives up a walk and a triple.
I don't think that's going to help your chances, Kenny.
No. Bouncing ball foul. Behind third base coach Robbie Thompson. Had a chance to talk to Robbie yet this spring?
I did not. He was busy getting his work in, hitting fungos, ground balls.
He had hip replacement surgery over the winter. He is moving around a lot better this year. Says he feels great. Two balls and 2 strikes on Jason Nix. Got a ball game going here now. Check swing. Can't say that much for the pitching this afternoon. We're not to the 3rd inning, and already 11 runs have been scored in this game. Another foul ball off the bat of Jason Nix, who at this point in spring training has seen an awful lot of time at shortstop. Did an incredible job last year backing up at several positions. I think he even spent some time in the outfield, Flash. Not much, but maybe a few innings.
I thought he did such a good job that he would be a lock to make this team, but signed a minor league contract.
2-2 pitch. Curveball is in there for a call. Strike 3. So McFarland does pick up the final out, but not before. The Yankees score 4 times here in the 2nd. Meredith Marakovits is coming back. Whatever she's writing down, you'll find out about.
We are back at Steinbrenner Field. The Yankees trailing 7-4 in the top of the 3rd. And Kenny, we're lucky enough in the 3rd inning that Meredith Marakovits, we just saw her diligently working on her notes, and she joins us. Meredith, how are you?
Can't complain, Flash. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yesterday, Jabba Chamberlain looked pretty impressive over against the Phillies in Clearwater, but he also made some headlines off the field.
He most certainly did, and that was his first appearance of the spring. He tossed a scoreless fourth inning, struck out 2 in the process, allowed just 1 hit. And after the game, when the media met with him at his locker, they asked if someday he'd have aspirations of being a closer. He first answered yes, and then unprompted, he said this about starting. This is probably going to spark a bunch of stuff, but it's one of those things where it's like, do you think you have the capability to start? Yes, I feel like I'm good enough to do both. So Jabba Chamberlain still has the idea of starting in his head. Now, whether or not he starts, it probably won't be with the Yankees, because General Manager Brian Cashman said, we're down in outfield bat right now, too. Let's see if he can play center field or not. So using a lot of sarcasm there. They don't see him as a starter. Right now, they're just hoping that he can be that 7th inning guy. And I think it's important to note that he is a free agent after this season. And also, Jabba Chamberlain saying he's focusing on 2013. He realizes if he goes out on the mound and handles business, the rest will fall into place and it'll all take care of itself.
Just another thing to talk about in spring training.
I think Jabba realizes there's money at the beginning of the game and
Sure.
money at the end of the game.
And you really can't blame him for that, but right now I think it's getting back. He did have a few appearances last year, and he was working his way back from the ankle injury and from the Tommy John. Now he feels very confident, healthy physically, and I spoke to him this offseason during a Yankees Access, when we did a Yankees Access show, and he said this is the first time in a while that I felt this good. He was able to train and prepare as he had in years past, and that's something that he really didn't have the luxury to do coming into the 2012 season. So he's a guy that's very confident right now. Feels like he can really help this Yankees team here in 2013.
We see a looping fly ball. Brett Gardner's going to come in and make the play on Ryan Flaherty. And, you know, we talk about Jabba, a guy pitching out of the bullpen, and Phil Hughes pitched in the rotation last year and obviously making a nice chunk of change this year. He's been hurt early, Meredith. How's he doing?
Well, Flash, he's on the mend from that bulging disc in his back. He's actually doing some pool workouts right now, and he said that he's pain-free. He was on anti-inflammatories for about 6 days and then started pool workouts on Sunday. Right now, no exact timetable exactly when he'll pick up a ball, but he is pain-free, so that's the most important thing, and he's pretty confident that he's going to be ready for opening day. It all depends on how the Yankees decide to bring him back and how he progresses throughout the rest of the spring, but there still is a lot of time left, so no big concern there. It looks as though he is healing quite nicely.
Well, good news there, and somebody we usually don't have a lot of concerns about is Mariano Rivera. This spring is a little bit different, coming back from the knee injury. Any news on him?
You know what, Flash? It's interesting because you ask anyone on this Yankees team, and they have no doubt that Mariano Rivera is going to be back and going to be the same pitcher he was prior to that knee injury. And he's definitely making some strides. He made his second live batting practice session on Monday where he threw 32 pitches. After that, he said he felt good. The next step probably for him will be at some point in time to throw a sim game. But right now, he's scheduled to throw tomorrow. Also, CC Sabathia is scheduled to throw tomorrow. So those two guys coming back from injuries, both reporting that they're throwing pain-free. And Mariano Rivera said something interesting in the effect that he doesn't even think of that knee anymore. He doesn't feel anything in that knee, and there's no hesitation when he's on the mound. But we do know the true test will come as to whether or not he can field his position in a regular game. So that'll be the biggest test. But right now, I think the Yankees have to be happy with the way he's progressing.
Well, Meredith, your medical report's going to continue here.
Hey, I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV, right?
How about Kevin Youkilis? What's going on with the Yankee third baseman?
Well, they're just being cautious with him. He was scratched yesterday after Monday reporting some tightness in what they were calling his left oblique. He actually described the pain a little bit lower, more towards his hip, but he said it maybe was something where he was a little dehydrated, maybe did a little bit too much. Woke up Tuesday, felt fine, took some swings in the cage and said he really didn't feel anything. However, the Yankees wanting to be extra cautious there. We're not even in March yet. They said, hey, it's February 26th. There's no need to rush things. There's no need to throw you out there. Let's be cautious with this. And Kevin Youkilis saying he understands it, but maybe next time he won't be so forward with saying he feels some tightness in his oblique, because the Yankees are known as a cautious organization. So he said he feels like he could have played yesterday, could play today, but it just depends on what the Yankees want to do. So he's itching to get himself back out there on the field, but understands the fact that they want to be cautious with him.
See a ground ball. Jason Nix comes across, but he's a little bit too late with Alexi Casilla. It's going to be an infield hit. And Meredith, we thank you for all the updates and all of the information, and we look forward to some of your interviews later on with the players.
Well, one more thing. You know, she's talking about all these injuries. She has an injury herself, not to her person, but this morning, remember, she had a blowout. She blew out her shoe. How's her shoe doing, Meredith?
It's not ideal, Kenny. I have to be honest with you.
Well,
so, just to come here about 9:30, I walk into the booth, say hello to you guys, and all of a sudden my shoe, it feels a little funny. I look at it, the whole top part is off. So I'm in there trying to rehab the shoe, taping it back together. So it doesn't look the best right now. It makes a funny noise when I walk, but I'm still here, still on my foot, and I'm still confident the Yankees are going to let me in the clubhouse after the game, because I'm sure if this shoe breaks and I don't have any shoes to wear, they will not let me in. So let's hope that it holds up for the next couple of
Well, I've got a scouting report for you. There's a DSW right down Dale Mabry out here, and you should be able to get a new pair of shoes on the way home.
You know what? The way this game is going right now, it's taking a lot of time. So I think I could scoot out right now and be back by, what, the 7th inning?
All right.
Well, thank you, Meredith, and we look forward to hearing from you later on.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
New pitcher for the Yankees, Francisco Rondon. Has himself in a little bit of trouble here. Bases loaded. Manny Machado up at the plate. Good fastball in the outside corner, 94 miles an hour. Machado's been busy early in this ballgame. An infield base hit. He walked his second at bat, and here we're in the 3rd inning. And like Meredith said, it is not moving smoothly. 3 at bats already for Machado.
How many base runners have we had in this game?
Seven to 4 to the Yankees trailing. It'll be a 1-2 to Machado. Rondon taking plenty of time. The fastball misses inside. He's got a good arm, but kind of all over the place, Kenny.
Yeah, that situation that you're looking for pitchers who can throw the ball over the plate. Now, in I know it's spring training. Sometimes their motions aren't fine-tuned. But if you're a young pitcher, you want to come into camp ready.
2-2 misses badly. Looked like a changeup up out over the plate.
And not able to hone in on his release point.
You can see the frustration on Larry Rothschild's face. You can deal with a guy getting hit around a little bit, but when you're erratic and can't find the strike zone, it'll drive a pitching coach and a manager crazy. 3-2 will be a ground ball to short. Nix over to Robinson Cano, over to Dan Johnson. So Francisco Rondon, who got himself in a little bit of trouble, able to make a pitch, get a double play, and the Yankees get out of it.
Bundy.
It is the bottom of the 3rd already, Kenny. The Yankees trailing 7-4. It has not been pretty. 3 errors for the Yankees. And we get a look at Dylan Bundy and his numbers last year from the minor leagues.
Very impressive. 23 starts, 9-3. Excellent earned run average. Look at the strikeouts. 119 strikeouts in 103 innings. 103 innings. And the fact is, he is a #1 draft pick. The Orioles have not developed a #1 starter going back to Mike Messina, they feel that this is going to be the young man who's going to be their #1 starter. Born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 4th overall in 2011. And Major League debut September 23rd of last year. 2/3 of an inning, pitch against the Boston Red Sox. And the #1 prospect, 2013, ranked by Baseball America, the Orioles #1. And #2 overall, the Jurickson Profar, the infielder with the Texas Rangers.
We saw on that resume he got a cup of coffee last year in the big leagues with Baltimore, and that should serve him well this spring training, kind of getting that out of the way. Come to big league camp a little bit more comfortable. We'll see how he does this afternoon. He's going to face Robinson Cano. First pitch is a first pitch strike.
I have never seen this young man pitch, but I've heard a lot about him. And talking to the likes of Jim Palmer, who's probably the best pitcher the Orioles have ever had.
Be a ground ball to Valencia, an easy play for the first out here in the bottom of the 3rd.
And Palmer says this kid has the goods.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I mentioned early on for Buck Showalter, probably the biggest question mark, how will that rotation hold up? Everybody thought it would fall apart last year, and it did not. You watch a young kid, your #1 prospect in your organization, and you start thinking, if you're Buck Showalter, when is the right time for him to come to Baltimore?
You know, it's interesting you mentioned the Oriole rotation. Now, last year, the Orioles won 93 games, despite the fact that no starter won more than 12 games.
It's amazing.
But they did have a very strong bullpen, 74-0 when they led after 7 innings. And that was primarily Jim Johnson and Pedro Strop out of the bullpen.
We also talked earlier, Baltimore did such a great job winning those close games. Let's take a look at the projected rotation for Baltimore. Hamill, Chen, Tillman, Gonzalez, and Britton.
I would say the first 4 are locks. Britton kind of falls into that, well, he's got to have a good spring category. Could be Arrieta, could be somebody like Steve Johnson, who's also scheduled to throw today. But it won't be Dylan Bundy, at least not yet.
Well, it's interesting for organizations, and talking to Gene Michael behind the cage today, you know, you talk about all these prospects, but when is the right time? When are they ready? You don't want a kid like Bundy coming to the big leagues when he's not ready and maybe not having some success, and all of a sudden your confidence takes a hit. Not an easy thing for an organization to figure out.
Now, did you start your big league career at the beginning of the season, or were you called up?
I made the big league team out of spring training, so I was there for opening day.
And then you got to hit your first time up, if I recall what you've mentioned many times.
I picked a lot of splinters for the first 10 days, and then finally got an at bat and was lucky enough to get a base hit.
You were well rested.
Kind of flew under the radar a little bit. Not like this kid Bundy with a big time slider on a 3-2 count. Gets Juan Rivera looking. So an impressive fastball velocity wise, and a pretty good slider right there.
This is what Flash is talking about. This shows you something. Not afraid of. You can see the flinch by Rivera there. 3-2 breaking ball for call, strike 3. That should put a smile on Buck Showalter's face. And just to his right there is Rick Adair, the pitching coach.
With 2 down, it brings up Dan Johnson.
See Exposito take his time throwing the ball back. He thought that was a strike.
The fastball down. You know, Kenny, you talk about the difference between a young kid in the minor leagues who has a great arm and a young kid like Bundy, who's the #1 prospect. A lot of it is 3-2 breaking ball for a strike. Confidence to pitch backwards a little bit. There's a changeup on a 2-0 count. Unusual to see a young kid have that much confidence.
Was he 20 years old?
This is what scouts drool over right here. A kid with a good arm who knows how to pitch. Comes back with a fastball that just misses.
95. You notice all the pitches missed down.
You know what I'm noticing? All the pitchers for both sides have kind of been all over the place, and when you see a kid like this who's right around the plate, just misses there with ball 4.
Orioles also have another young pitcher that they signed out of Louisiana State last year, #1 pick Kevin Gausman. And he's thrown this spring. He's touched 97 on the gun. And they feel that they're going to be 1 and 1A in their rotation in the not too distant future.
2 down, it brings up Almonte. A base hit his first at bat. Playing right field for the Yankees this afternoon. Little open stance from the left side for Almonte. Mentioned earlier he is a switch hitter. They got the 7 in front of the 8 now, Kenny. Robbie Kukuza in the clubhouse on top of things.
Well, you can't count the 8 without a 7.
Of course, Lou Kukuza, Robbie's brother, down here in Tampa as well, taking care of things for all the players.
And you say all the players, that you're exactly right, because they are busy. 84 players in camp. Bet you Lou Sr.'s back in the Bronx saying, oh, go ahead, fellas.
Yeah, go take care of it.
Look at.
There they are on that top step. Almonte, one of those players who's opening up some eyes early in spring training. You watch him stand in that box, Kenny. It looks like he's pretty sure of himself. The 1-2 from Bundy, a big breaking ball, misses.
Looked like that was the first curveball he tried to throw, and he spun out of his hand.
Fastball misses, snap throw from Exposito. He doesn't get Johnson back in there safely. And Exposito behind the plate, a kid who had some big league time last year. Good quick throw and a nice call. So Almonte works the count back to full. 3-2, 2 outs. Dan Johnson will be on the move. He's off. And a fastball up in the zone, hit to center field. Lou Ford cruising back right in front of the warning track. And it'll be an easy play. So Dylan Bundy, first inning of work. Pretty impressive for a young kid. Later tonight, Yes is the home for a stellar Big 12 basketball showdown. The Baylor Bears are fighting for a spot in the NCAA tournament as they travel to West Virginia for a crucial matchup against the Mountaineers. All the rim-rocking action starts tonight at 8 o'clock right here on Yes.
I know that guy.
It's the next teammate of mine right there, Sweet Lou Whitaker in the hat. He's watching a slow affair early on this afternoon. The Yankees trailing 7-4. Francisco Rondon back out on the mound.
Of course, Sweet Lou Whitaker back in the day, a second baseman, all-star second baseman with the Detroit Tigers. He and Alan Trammell, I think they were second baseman shortstop combination longer than any second base shortstop combination in American League history. Number of years with Detroit. World Series champions in 1984.
Now, I played with Lou kind of at the tail end of his career as Connor Jackson fouls a fastball off.
I played against him at the beginning of his career.
And he was one of the best hitters I had ever been around. Just real natural, knew how to work in a bat. Defensively, it slowed down a little bit. What type of a player was he young?
As a young player, well, first of all, he and Trammell, they weren't the biggest of guys. So they're playing us with little leaguers at second and short. But they grew into the role for sure. Both of them becoming very good ball players, and made Trammell kind of knocking on the door of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. A good slider from Rondon down and in. Chris Stewart comes up with it. The throw to first.
So Trammell and Whitaker were teammates for 19 consecutive years.
Wow.
Playing second base and shortstop. And that record can be tied this year by Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera. 19 consecutive years as teammates. That's a lot of double plays turned.
A lot of home runs hit, too, when Trammell and Whitaker both had some power.
Yeah, they did.
One down, it brings up Steve Pearce. Having a good afternoon, 2 for 2, a double, a single, 3 RBIs, and a run. Swings at an off-speed pitch. Pearce bounced around quite a bit last year, trying to win a job here in spring training.
You know, one of the things that players who are on the cusp, what they do, not only do they follow what's going on with the team they're in camp with, they follow what's going on in other camps. You know, injuries or, you know, players who are released or let go. That has them scattering over by the Oriole dugout. Along the third base side, a rocket off the bat of Pearce.
I mentioned Pearce, well traveled last year, went to spring training with Minnesota, was released, signed to a minor league contract by the Yankees, was acquired by Baltimore, was designated for assignment by Baltimore, claimed on waivers by Houston, designated by Houston, claimed on waivers by New York, and then ended up back here in Baltimore.
Wow.
Right-handed hitter with some power, trying to find a home in the big leagues. Be the 27th pitch for Rondon. Looks a lot more comfortable here in his second inning of work than he did last inning, Kenny.
Well, last inning got started with the error, and that kind of set things in motion the wrong way. A walk. He did get a fly ball out. Then he got the double play to get out of the jam. So maybe that had him turning the corner.
A 3-2 and another breaking ball. That Pearce swings right over the top. Chris Stewart had a tough time, but applies the tag for the second out here in the top of the fourth.
Good pitch. You can see that Pearce well out in front. So as you said, Rondon having a better inning this inning, a couple of strikeouts. Joe Girardi probably would that be Mike Harkey on the other end?
I would assume so, and Tony Pena seems to be amused by the conversation.
Maybe he's telling Harkey to get up and start throwing. Of course, Mike is the Yankees bullpen coach.
Kinsler, it's a ground ball to third. Joseph over with the throw and a stretch by Dan Johnson. A nice play all the way around, and a 1-2-3 inning for Francisco Rondon. Corbin Joseph comes up with it. The one bounce over to Dan Johnson. Yankees still trail 7-4.
Surprised me in baseball because, you know, a lot of what a baseball season is if you stay healthy and how do your young players perform. And they were relatively healthy all season, and their young players really stepped up. They have some really good young talent there. Their young pitchers stepped up and had great seasons. So that doesn't surprise me at all. They have a very good base there, and they're going to be good for a long time.
As Mark Teixeira talking about the 2012 Baltimore Orioles, as Slade Heathcott ripping on the first pitch, a base hit to right field. And we're going to take a look at our team scouting report for the Baltimore Orioles, which is brought to you by Tri-Honda. What a ride they had last year. 93 wins, took the Yankees to Game 5 in the ALDS. And they're trying to prove that they're not a one-hit wonder. Can they do it again? And we mentioned earlier, the rotation may be a little bit of a question, but they're looking forward to full seasons from Machado, Markakis, and Brian Roberts possibly coming back. A lot to be excited about in Baltimore.
Yeah, we just showed you a graphic earlier about how the Orioles went about it last year. 29-9 in one-run games. I don't think anybody would. That's the best percentage in history. I don't think anybody would think they would duplicate that. 16-2 in extra inning games. 22.
A routine fly ball to left field.
And plus, they were 25-14 in two-run games. So they won all of the close games. When they lost, they had a tendency to get blown out. And over the course of the whole season, Flash, their run differential, they were just +7 over the opposition. That's hard to do, win that many games.
You know, when you're around this team, Baltimore, they're kind of relishing this underdog, nobody thinks we can do it again mentality.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously they're not going to sneak up on teams like they did last year. The American League East is going to be tough as Heathcott is on the move. First pitch swinging from Corbin Joseph right back to Bundy. An easy play. Heathcott advances to second base.
And they were the type of team that the former Oriole Hall of Fame manager, the late Earl Weaver, would really like. They were last in the major leagues in stolen bases, but they were second in the major leagues to the Yankees in home runs. And you can see that they're honoring Earl this year by wearing their patch number 4. Earl, my former manager, the Earl of Baltimore, who passed away during the winter on a cruise. He had a fatal heart attack on a cruise and passed away.
Did I read that was a team cruise, right?
Well, yeah, that was a team cruise, and I think former Oriole Scott McGregor was on that cruise. Another former Oriole, Bill Swaggerty, was also on that cruise along with Earl and their families and several Oriole fans.
Brett Gardner hits a ground ball to Valencia at first base. So Dylan Bundy, 2 scoreless innings, young prospect for the Baltimore Orioles, looking pretty impressive this afternoon.
Well, we move back to the top of the 5th inning. It's 7-4. The Orioles are leading on our Audi scoreboard. 7 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Baltimore. 4 runs, 4 hits, 3 errors for the Yankees this afternoon. Now, this is where we usually talk to the manager, but today we have a special treat. We're going to talk to former Yankee, great catcher, Jorge Posada. Jorge, thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me. Enjoying this beautiful weather because the game is not too pretty.
Well, we mentioned the 3 errors, and right away in the first inning, it looked like the youngster Turley was a little nervous when he started.
Yeah, he was all over the place.
Is there anything a catcher could do in that situation to try and settle him down?
Make him laugh. Make him laugh. You know, make him feel right at home. Make him laugh. The game's still the same.
Speaking of feeling at home, how do you feel this spring coming in as a special instructor?
A little weird at the beginning, you know, working with the catches a little bit, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being here and seeing the talent that we have, and a lot of future, you know, when it comes down to being behind the plate. A lot of good catchers down there.
Well, Jorge, let's talk about those catchers. Obviously, this spring training, a big topic of discussion. You know, Chris Stewart catching right now, Cervelli, and then a couple of youngsters in camp. Give us your opinion of how this race is going to play out.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's going to come down to how the pitchers like to throw to, you know, certain guys. And, you know, right now it looks like, you know, Cervi's catching very well, Stewie's catching very well. So it just, you know, tough decision for Joe later on.
How about some of the young kids? Austin Romine, what have you seen from him? Sanchez, we hear a lot about him, kind of lower down in the minor leagues, but a top prospect.
Yeah, Sanchez got a lot of talent, 20 years old, a lot of power at the plate, very good arm, working a little bit more on his defense, but he looks very good, needs to work a little bit. I'm on him about that. I want him to, you know, take it serious and, you know, a little bit more discipline on, you know, coming to camp in better shape.
New pitcher in the game for the Yankees is Tom Conley, and the Yankees have also made a change in left field. It's Ramon Flores. As well, Jorge, it says this kid's throwing 95 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Do you get the impression when you're sitting on the side of how hard a guy's actually throwing?
Yeah, you can tell 95 is completely different than some of the guys throwing 90. It's a big difference here.
Now that you've been away from the game for a while, of course, Yankee fans, you'll always be revered in Yankee history by the fans. How's life going away from the ballpark for you?
Going well. You know, enjoying the kids, enjoying being the taxi driver, taking them here and there, and having a little time to, you know, to spend with the kids and with the family.
Yeah, eventually the kids grow up and they go off and drive on their own, and that's another set of problems, I think.
Yeah, I'll still be following them around.
Well, Jorge, you were telling me today that little Jorge has a game tomorrow that you want to check out.
Yeah.
So you're going to travel home tonight back to Miami. Now, I want to know, are you the type of baseball dad who yells and screams from the stands, or are you the guy who keeps quiet?
Not at all. I'm quiet. I'm sitting down. Minding my own business. I will talk to Jorge. I will, you know, try to position him. He plays left field or right field, so I try to position him a little bit. He looks at me, and I move him around a little bit. But the other kids during practice, I'll try to help out if I see anything, you know. But they're 13, so just go out there and have fun right now.
But your dad was the one who introduced you to the game. Was he that way too, kind of low key?
No, he was a little bit more. He was a little bit more intense. Very hands on. You know, and he knew a lot more than I know now about the games. You know, being a scout and what it takes to being a prospect or a big league player.
Nice running catch by the center fielder Heathcott there for out number 1. Now, you saw Mariano Rivera throw a bullpen. What did you think the other day?
He looked like, you know, the old Mo. You know, he looks good. He did a lot of PFP this morning, and he looks good, covering the bag. No problems running. He doesn't look like he had a tough injury.
Now, let me ask you this. All the years that you caught, was there a pitcher that you would say was kind of easier to catch as the runner takes off? And that's kind of a wild throw. Looked like Stewart just had the ball sail out of his hand. It's going to be a stolen base.
Well, I can laugh up here because I've been there, done that. What do you think, Jorge? Just didn't have a grip?
Yeah, no grip at all. He tried to rush it and sailed. Good job by Robbie by dicking him.
Yeah, we're taking a look now. A pitch that was down and in on the left-handed batter, and Chris did not have a grip on it. Ends up in right center field.
Well, it's going to go as a stolen base. Lou Ford at second, didn't get a chance to advance. I had asked you the easiest pitcher to catch, if there is such a thing.
Yeah, Mariano is up there. You know, talking about Jimmy Key and talking about Andy. But Mariano's up there. You know when in doubt, he's going to put the ball wherever he wants, and very good control. You know, his cutter, calling the cutter makes your job a lot easier.
You know, Jorge, we were talking a little bit in the dugout about Derek and his comeback from this ankle surgery. And, you know, a lot of fans might not remember you went through a pretty devastating injury in the minor leagues with your ankle. Maybe not the easiest thing to come back from mentally.
Yeah, the thing about Derek, it was just bone. Just broke his bone. My problem was I dislocated all the tendons in the ankle. Ooh. So it took me a whole year to get back into things. What Derek is doing right now, I couldn't do at 4 or 5 months, you know.
Was that right after you had been switched from infield to catching?
No, that was in '94. I was in AAA already. Mm-hmm. You know, and it really took me, I would say, a whole year to get back into feeling well again and driving the ball and feeling comfortable on that ankle.
But, you know, it was interesting, Kenny. Jorge was talking that mentally you kind of had to get past that hurdle that when you ran, you trusted that it wasn't going to hurt anymore. And it's probably the last step for Derek, huh?
Yeah, you know, that pop after, you know, that you feel and then you're like, oh, it's okay, you know, nothing broke or nothing. You can trust that feeling again, and you know, I think he needs to go through that right now.
Fly ball to right field. Almonte corrals it. That's going to do it here in the top of the 5th inning. I want to thank Jorge Posada for being with us.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you, Jorge. We'll be back with the bottom of the 5th inning. Orioles leading the Yankees by a score of 7-4. Fans, the Yankees have launched Yankees Ticket Exchange, the official resale marketplace of the Yankees, at Yankees.com. It's a safe, secure, and convenient way for fans to buy and resell Yankee tickets. For more information, visit Yankees.com/ticket exchange. New pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles. It's going to be Todd Redmond, who is claimed on waivers from the Cincinnati Reds. 26 games, 25 of those were starts. You can see his record in minors. 3.63 ERA. He's going to get Jason Nix leading off the 5th on our Audi scoreboard. 7-4. Baltimore leading. They scored 5 in the first, 2 in the second. The Yankees came back with 4 in the bottom of the 2nd inning. That's where we stand right now. Nix, Cano, and Rivera scheduled to hit for the Yankees here in the 5th inning. And Jason Nix takes a pitch. It just misses, and it's a ball and a strike on the Yankee shortstop, who today is grounded into a double play and struck out. That pitch is in there for a strike. Now Jason's brother Lance Played against the Yankees yesterday over in Clearwater for the Phillies. Lance is a left-handed hitter. Does a pretty good job off the Philly bench. Pitches foul back. Still a ball at 2 strikes.
Kenny, what do you think? Jorge Posada looked pretty relaxed and content over there watching a little baseball.
Well, he had mentioned that he has a flight back home, and I bet he's thinking about the length of contest. He doesn't want to miss that flight back to Miami. But would you say Jorge Jr. has a game tomorrow?
He's got a game tomorrow that Jorge wants to get back and check out. Obviously, one of the benefits of retirement, seeing some of those games that he wasn't able to see for years.
Pitch is high and the count is run full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
But I was impressed talking to Jorge today. Like he's into this coaching stuff. You know, he was into working with the catchers and trying to give them some of his knowledge and, you know, what kind of helped him during his career. So he's not one of these guys just kind of hanging around. He was getting in there and working with the catchers. Good to see.
Call strike 3. Nix is caught looking for the 2nd time today. And he's out number 1 here in the 5th inning.
Jason, having one of those games you're happy that it's happening in spring training. Has struck out a few times, hit into a double play, made an error. Solid player for the Yankees last year. Still trying to get his timing down at the plate.
Here is Robbie Cano, who's grounded to short, grounded to first. He's 0 for 2. People have to remember that it was Jorge who kind of took over for Joe Girardi back in 1996. They're both on the team that beat the Braves in the World Series. That nice comeback after being down 2 games to none, storming back to win 4 consecutive games. Cano with a bouncing ball slowly hit the short, and Flaherty's going to make the play, and it's 2 up and 2 down for the Yankees here in the 5th. So Cano 0 for 3 this afternoon, a couple 3 ground outs. And here's Juan Rivera, looking to get the ball out of the infield for the first time today. He's grounded to short, thrown out on a very good play by Ryan Flaherty, then was caught looking. It sails upstairs, and it's ball 1. Hit high in the air down the left field side. Flaherty calling everybody off. Now he's called off by the left fielder who doesn't make the play. The ball gets it by Pierce, and Rivera's going to be at second. Flaherty called everybody off, but the outfielder coming in has the easier play, and Steve Pierce called him off and did not make the play.
Yeah, we're talking about Pierce being a right-handed hitter with some power, but not doing a very good job in left field. Like you said, Kenny, he's the priority over Flaherty, the shortstop, and he just overruns the baseball.
One thing I will say about playing the outfield in spring training, if you can play the outfield in Florida with all the wind and all the sun, you can play the outfield anywhere. Not to make excuses, that ball should have been caught. There's a pitch in there for a strike to Dan Johnson. We have a pinch runner now at second. Higashioka, Kyle Higashioka, running at second base for Juan Rivera. Pitches in the dirt, knocked down by Exposito. So the Yankees have a runner at second. That's going to go as a double. That's kind of a gift double. Dan Johnson at the plate's kind of bounced around a little bit, but Yankee fans might remember him from the last day of the season 2 years ago in Tampa Bay. The Rays were losing by 1 run with 2 outs in the 9th inning, a game that they had to win, and he hit a homer and tied it over at Tropicana Field. And that was the game that Evan Longoria hit the home run to win it while the Red Sox were losing to Baltimore on a base hit by Robert Andino. Here's Johnson, 2 outs in the ninth off Corey Wade that tied the game. Then Longoria won it. Rays go to the playoffs. Red Sox went home. That pitch is high for a ball. And the thing about it, Corey Wade threw that pitch, but under normal circumstances, Corey Wade wouldn't have been in the game. The Yankees had the luxury of resting their better bullpenners, including Mariano Rivera. Joe Girardi had told everybody he's not using his best guys. He was saving them for the playoffs. Pitches popped in the air to center field. Lou Ford is there. And Ford makes the catch, and the Yankees are retired here in the 5th inning. They pick up a double and nothing else. At the end of 5, it still remains the Orioles 7 and the Yankees 4.
It's definitely a great thing to be able to hear that people say, hey, this guy's got a chance or he's got good enough stuff to get there. But ultimately, I still have to go out and perform and do my job, obviously, and at the back end of games and or wherever they put me. So I'm just going to continue and hopefully make that come true.
Well, the youngster's in the ball game now. Mark Montgomery, he's got a strong throwing arm. Let's see how he works this afternoon. First pitch is fouled back to the screen. Here are the numbers from a year ago at A and AA. 7-2, 1.54, only 35 hits and 64 in the 3rd innings. Flash, you see that last number?
99.
99 strikeouts. Oh, I can see why. That's a nasty breaking pitch. 99 strikeouts in 64 innings. That's a lot of toting that lumber back to the bench.
Doing a nice job jumping out ahead quickly, 0-2. He got a little deception to his delivery as well. He kind of jumps towards home plate.
Born in Williamsburg, Virginia, attended Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia. Drafted 11th round, 2011. Florida State League All-Star with Tampa last year. And those are definitely eye-popping numbers that he put up. Pitches in the dirt. Count is run to 2-2. Yamako Navarro at the plate. Indianapolis Indians in AAA, and he's now in there for Casilla at second base.
Well, Montgomery, who jumped out ahead 0-2, now finds himself in a full count. We'll see how much confidence he has in that slider, or will he go with a fastball here, 3-2.
Payoff pitch, outside, ball 4. So a leadoff walk to Navarro will bring up Travis Ishikawa. He's trying to make the Orioles as a backup first baseman to Chris Davis. And he's batting in the second spot in place of Manny Machado. Machado had a hit, scored a couple of runs today. Run at first, nobody out. 7-4 ball game. We're in the top half of the 6th inning. All the scoring in this game in the first 2 innings, as Francisco Cervelli is going to go out and talk to Montgomery now, try and settle him down.
Well, we saw a lot of this from Chris Stewart, who started the game behind the plate. Cervelli now working with a young right-hander, Montgomery. Got good stuff. You got to get him over the plate, get him ahead in the count. We'll see if that trip to the mound helped out.
But Jorge say you got to make them laugh.
Make them laugh. You know, the nerves for these young kids in big league camp, they definitely come into play.
Runner goes. Pitches a strike. The throw to second. That's a strike as well. The runner is thrown out. Navarro thrown out, attempting to steal.
Well, we've seen from Francisco Cervelli, he can receive, he can block. Sometimes the throwing in his young career has been erratic. It's not erratic right here. Real simple transfer and an accurate throw. Nice tag by Culver.
That is Cito Culver now playing shortstop. That's the second base runner that Cervelli has thrown out attempting to steal this spring.
You know, Kenny, when people talk about him and I watch Cervelli catch, you think of him as a very good defensive catcher, but the throwing has been erratic at times. Looked excellent right there. Good transfer, short arm swing, a lot on the throw. Confidence early, like you said, has thrown out a few runners this spring. Can only help him the rest of the way.
Ishikawa swings and misses on an off-speed pitch and is struck out. Tell you what, there's a situation where the catcher maybe gives more confidence to his pitcher after throwing out a runner.
Yeah, he can take a little deep breath after that runner is thrown out at second base, and then he comes right back. Montgomery does with a good slider to pick up the strikeout.
Here's Connor Jackson. He's had a pretty good afternoon. First pitch is ball 1. Jackson is single, double, scored 2 runs, driven in a run. He's also struck out. That will leave an account 1-1 on the Orioles designated hitter. Bouncing ball. It's going to be Culver. The long throw and a strong arm gets it. So after the leadoff walk, no damage. Montgomery gets the job done. At the end of 5.5, it's 7-4 Baltimore.
fan enjoying the game. 7-4 scores. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Redmond still in there for Baltimore. Zoilo Almonte, who was single and fly to center. 1 for 2. Takes another pitch high. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Two old pitches fouled back, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
You know, Kenny, sometimes you read the numbers from the minor leagues. Almonte, 21 home runs, 70 RBIs, and you look forward to actually seeing the approach and the swing in a big league spring training game. He's not afraid to swing hard right there. 2-0 count. He turned it loose. That'll get your attention if you're Joe Girardi.
You know, one thing you look for from a young hitter is knowledge of the strike zone. You know, if he's not chasing too many pitches out of the zone, because once big league pitchers figure that you're going to chase, you're not going to get too many strikes. Here's a pitch right at the knees, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, and they're a perfect example. A 3-1 pitch, but it was down and away, a good pitcher's pitch, and Almonte didn't offer at it. Little things like that will impress a coaching staff, a big league hitting coach like Kevin Long.
3-2 pitch, and he hits it foul down the left field side. Going to twist away from the left fielder and be out of play. Into the Orioles bullpen. Here's a look at Yankee hitting coach Kevin Long. And he mentioned last year, when I asked him, or I should say I asked him earlier this spring about the younger hitters, and the first one he mentioned was Almonte. Now I wonder if he was looking at it alphabetically, but but Almonte was the first one that he mentioned. Switch hitter, 3-2 pitch, hit on the ground to short. The throw across the diamond, and there is 1 out here in the 6th. Here comes Heathcote, who has reached on a fielder's choice and scored and had a solid single to right field. I wonder if Heathcote's going to go all the way today. There's slider to the outside corner for a call strike. Holds his hands pretty low. That means he has to get the bat up quickly and then back through the zone. Pitch is fouled back and out of play. I'm trying to think of a hitter who did that. Didn't Will Clark used to hit that way?
He did, kind of that same tall stance. Right?
More modern day is Nick Markakis holds his hands low like that and then brings them up. Foul back, count remains, no balls and 2 strikes.
You know, obviously the physical tools have impressed the Yankee organization with Heathcote, but Joe Girardi also talking about him said he plays hard. He plays the game the right way, and he almost had to have a conversation, hey, you know, take it easy in spring training as he goes down on strikes, because we need you to have a full season where you're healthy in the minor leagues. They feel like if he can just get the at-bats day in and day out, he's going to put up some pretty impressive numbers.
Here's Francisco Cervelli, who took over for Chris Stewart, who started this game. Stewart was 1 for 2 with a run scored and an RBI. This is Cervelli's first at bat of the afternoon. He's up there with 2 outs and nobody on here in the 6th inning. And he'll take one underneath the hands, and it's ball 1.
You wonder how this whole catching situation is going to play out for the Yankees, and we heard Jorge Posada talking about it a little bit when we had some time in the 5th inning. You know, and it very well might be what pitcher-catcher matchup works, where Cervelli might catch 3 guys, Stewart might catch 2, or Austin Romine, I mean, whoever it might be. It'll be a little different situation for the Yankees behind the plate this year, and they're not going to have Russell Martin or a guy like Posada who pretty much plays every day.
Pulled foul. Orioles have made several changes defensively. You got on the bus, you're going to play. With the exception of a few pitchers, I would think. 1-2 pitch to Cervelli, and he lifts it in the air to right field. Coming on is Webb, the right fielder. He's not going to get it. It's going to drop in there for a base hit, so a 2-out single for Francisco Cervelli. Will keep it going. Rudiger in left field, Davis in center, Webb in right. Navarro, Marin, Britton, Ishikawa, and Exposito. Now Britton at second base. Interesting story. His brother is Zach Britton, the left-handed pitcher. Who has a chance to make the rotation and has pitched in the big league level for Baltimore. Corbin Joseph takes a pitch in there for a strike. Brother, a left-handed starter. Strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes on Corbin Joseph. 0 for 1 with a walk and a run score. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. The Flash, I was thinking about you yesterday. I knew you were flying in, and early in the morning, the weather wasn't what I would call flying weather around here. It was windy, rain was coming down. I'm thinking, oh, Flash is going to fly in this storm, and then it cleared up. As you approached Tampa Airport, things just cleared up.
It was beautiful when I landed. I heard there were tornado reports. Right?
Exactly. I'm just saying, we got to thank you for the good weather. It's not going to miss. Strike 3. That's going to do it for the Yankees here. Corbin Joseph strikes out. The Yankees leave a runner. It's on to the 7th inning. Orioles lead by 3.
We're back here at Steinbrenner Field on our tri-state Ford scoreboard. The Yankees trailing 7-4. 3 errors for the Yankees this afternoon, and we have a new pitcher, Josh Spence. 2012 with the Padres, got in 11 games, 13 hits and 10 in the third, 5 walks and 10 strikeouts. A lot of changes here this afternoon for the Yankees. Flores in left, Garcia in center, Austin in right, Ibarra, Culver, Perella, Roller across the infield. We saw Francisco Cervelli get a base hit last inning, and Spence is on the mound. A time in spring training games early on where things get awfully confusing, Kenny.
Your scorecard takes a beating in these games.
Number 81.
Tyler Austin in right field, another one of the big prospects for the New York Yankees, getting a chance here at the end of this game.
Supposedly ticketed for Trenton, so the fans down in Trenton, New Jersey, at Waterfront Park. I've been there.
First pitch from the lefty. Spence misses down and away. Was that in Trenton?
Yes, it is. It's right along the river there.
I actually just drove by that ballpark the other day. I went down to St. Joseph's University to watch my GW Colonials get beat by St. Joe's, and we drove right by that ballpark in Trenton. It looked beautiful.
The basketball game you're talking about?
Yeah.
Right? Was it at the Palestra?
No, it was it was on campus at St. Joe's.
Oh, okay. Palestra, of course, an historic arena. Has to be historic because I played there. Years ago. I think we played St. Joe's and they beat us.
Well, 2-2 on Davis, a new center fielder for Baltimore. Spence, a low three-quarter delivery, flips a breaking ball in there for strike 3, catches Davis looking.
Good pitch from Josh Spence. Off-speed breaking ball hits the outside corner. Spence from Australia. That pitch was not quite from down under, but it did hit the outside corner. He does have that type of motion.
Low three-quarter arm angle, good movement. He gets a ground ball. Throw across the diamond is going to be a little bit wide. It was a nice bare hand by Ibarra, the new third baseman, and bad throw.
That should go as a hit and an error. It's going to be a tough play. Although if the throw is on the money, they would have got him. But I think because of degree of difficulty, they'll give him a single and an error on that play. So that's going to be the 4th Yankee error of the afternoon.
First pitch breaking ball, a strike from Spence. Adrian Marin, numbers last year in the minor leagues. Assuming one of the kids brought over from camp doesn't have a name on the back of his jersey. And the double flap helmet will give it away all the time too.
Somebody's got to fill out these rosters when you take the bus, and like I said, if you ride the bus, you're usually going to play. And he looks young, doesn't he? I wonder if I looked that young when I was 19 and playing. Probably not.
I think physically you probably looked a little more intimidating though than Adrian. And he's behind in the count, 1-2. Another breaking ball from Spence, looped into left field. Flores coming on. He's not going to be able to make the play. So it'll be a base hit for Adrian Marin. And Baltimore in business here, 1st and 3rd with 1 out.
One of those days.
Spence has faced a couple of right-handers. Now he's going to get an opportunity to face a lefty. I'm sure Joe Girardi paying attention to this matchup, left on left. Throw over to first base. John Rudiger up at the plate, takes ball 1.
I mentioned Spencer's from Australia. He was born in Grovedale, but he now lives in either Geelong or Geelong. It's G-E-E. I'll go with Gilo. You know, in this day and age with the World Baseball Classic coming up, Australia has a team. And you go back to the 1996 Yankees and Graham Lloyd.
Got hot at the right time for those Yankees.
Yes, he did. Tall left-hander, got the job done. The Yankees strong in the bullpen in those days. It was John Wetland was closing then. Pre-Mariano. Good curve.
Drops it in there for a strike to even up the count at 2-2. Speaking of good Yankee relievers, saw Jeff Nelson underneath the stage.
Yeah, we
today.
did. Yeah, we had a chance to say hello to Jeff.
Be a 2-2 to Rudiger. Another breaking ball misses off the plate. The 3-2 count. We'll see if Adrian Marin at first base will be on the fly. First and third, one out. Yankees trailing 7-4.
Interesting. Spence wasn't a pro when he came over here. He went to Arizona State. Saw Reggie Jackson before the game. Reggie, an Arizona State product.
Always a top-notch baseball program.
Oh, yeah. Barry Bonds went there, didn't he? Yeah.
Marin is not running, and another breaking ball, and it's off the plate. Rudiger works a walk. Baltimore now has the bases loaded with one out here in the top of the seventh. There's the resume. Kenny mentioned born in Australia, Arizona State, drafted by the Padres in the 9th round and claimed on waivers by the Yankees in November.
Here is Buck Britton. This is Zach Britton's older brother.
First at bat this afternoon, faces the lefty Spence and takes ball one. Bases loaded for Baltimore, looking to add on a little bit here in the top of the seventh. They jumped out early, 5 runs in the first inning, 2 in the second. Britton pulls one foul. Numbers last year in over 100 games. Impressive batting average, 9 home runs.
Decent on base percentage.
Spence again with that low 3/4 delivery, a breaking ball that again misses off the plate. They check on the swing, said it did not go.
Now, Flash, you know, every player that comes to Major League camps, when you first get there as a rookie, you take a look at the delivery of Spence. Kind of a sidearm delivery. In your first years in camp, you get in games like this, you get one at bat to shine.
One opportunity for the manager to hopefully remember your name. Britton hits a ground ball to first base. Bobbled a little bit by Roller, but he comes up, makes the play. A second out at first base. But Britton will get an RBI. Baltimore now leads 8-4.
I think the Orioles have made changes at just about every position but one. It's the guy who has to work the hardest.
Exposito batting 9th. He will get himself another at bat. He struck out, he walked, and he hit a fly ball.
It's a little unusual for catchers to go this far into a ball game.
Well, this early in spring training, usually see catchers maybe go 4 or 5 innings. Exposito, a kid who I mentioned earlier, had a cup of coffee with Baltimore last year, trying to kind of hang on with the club. They're pretty much all set with Wieters behind the plate. Taylor Teagarden be his backup if everybody stays healthy, and Exposito trying to make an impression early in spring training.
Yeah, Wieters being a switch hitter, he catches just about he caught more innings than any other catcher in the league last year. He's pretty much a fixture, and on days off, he doesn't want days off. He wants to continue to be in there.
A ground ball to the left side, knocked down by the third baseman, but it's going to drive in a couple of runs. So Exposito, who gets another at bat, makes it count as he gets a 2-out base hit to drive in 2 more, and Baltimore leads 10-4.
That broke off the glove of Ibarra at third, and the shortstop Culver was coming over to back up, so the ball eventually gets by both of them, and the Orioles get 2 more runs. Exposito, well, now he's happy he's been in there the whole way. He's 1 for 3 with a couple of runs batted in. Ibarra with a couple of steps to his left off the end of his glove. You can see Culver passing, and the ball end up in short left center field. And of course, with 2 outs, the runners are off with the crack of the bat, and the Orioles have 2 more runs, and it's 10-4.
Well, Exposito gets that base hit with 2 outs, and a pinch runner has gone in for him. That'll bring up Navarro, the third baseman, walked his first at bat.
And it's Yamiko Navarro.
Ty Kelly is the pinch runner at first base. Spence trying to finish up here in the top of the 7th.
Now, we did mention that the Orioles do have a night game tonight. They're playing back down in Sarasota, about an hour south of here, but of course they're going to have to deal with traffic going across the causeway on 275 and then over the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. They're playing the Red Sox. You think, Buck, they might be late?
Might be late. It's a long day of baseball for Buck Showalter as Spence drops in a breaking ball for strike 2.
We're talking rush hour traffic, and you know the causeway can only hold so many cars. Turns into the Long Island Expressway about this time of day.
Spence ahead 1-2, and it'll be another ground ball to shortstop. Culver, the backhand, the strong throwing arm across the diamond, but Baltimore picks up 3 more runs in the top of the 7th. And here at Steinbrenner Field, to honor America, we are going to stay for God Bless America.
The armed forces that fight around the globe to preserve our freedom. Please direct your attention to the Yankees dugout as we welcome a member of our armed forces, Major Kelly Jeter of the United States Air Force, U.S. Special Operations Command. Major Jeter will stand with the New York Yankees during the singing of God Bless America. Let's have a warm round of applause for Major Kelly and all of our brave men and women for their sacrifices for our country. Now, ladies and gentlemen, will you please remain standing and join Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
All right, man, it's time for the 7th inning.
Welcome back on our Tri-State Ford scoreboard. The Yankees trailing 10-4 with 4 errors this afternoon. New pitcher for Baltimore is Steve Johnson.
Steve's dad, Dave Johnson, pitched for the Orioles at one time.
See the numbers last year. 4-0 in the big leagues with a 2.11. 38 in the third innings.
46 strikeouts. He's not really known as an overpowering type pitcher, but he knows how to pitch. You know, elevate his fastball when he needs that strike 3. Change speeds. So I mean, with the elevating the fastball, you heard a little more pop on that one.
88 miles an hour, but it sounded a little quicker there.
Didn't it?
Flores up for the Yankees, first at bat this afternoon. One in for Brett Gardner, playing a little bit of left field. Good swing, fouls it straight back. Been a sloppy afternoon for the New York Yankees. Gave up 5 runs in the first inning. Young left-hander Nick Hurley started this ball game. It was so long ago, Kenny, I'm mispronouncing names. This will not be one of the games that Joe Girardi is going to be real happy about. Obviously, early in spring training, not that big of a deal, but 4 errors this afternoon. Flores slaps one the other way. That's going to slice foul into the bullpen for Baltimore.
It's a spring training game. A lot of players that you don't know, you get a chance to see them for the first time. And you know, it applies to managers as well. That a lot of these kids from the minor leagues, you get a look. And a lot of kids from the minor leagues are going to get a chance to play because some of the big leaguers are going to be off and going to the World Baseball Classic.
Good opportunities to show the big league staff what you can do, and Flores shows a little leadoff walk here. The bottom of the 7th. A few minutes ago, Meredith Marakovits was talking to Chris Stewart.
Thanks, guys. I'm with Yankees catcher Chris Stewart. Chris, as a catcher coming into camp, did you do anything differently this time around, knowing that you'd be competing for that starter's role?
No, nothing different. I always kind of train my routine around 162 games. You never want to train to be the backup because if you get thrown in as a starter, you know, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. So I came in, just trained like I always do. Try to get in the best shape I always can, and you know, hopefully it's 162 games this year.
That position in particular, how difficult is it to get back into the swing of things when you get to camp?
It's tough. It doesn't matter what you do in the off season. It's not, you know, baseball shape. You know, catching those bullpens, going out and catching in the games. You know, I'm a little rusty right now, but that's why we're here, and it's a long spring training. So you know, the more we play out there, the more I'm gonna get the feel again, and by opening day it should be good.
You look at Nick Turley today, obviously some nerves going out there. What do you try to do as the catcher to get him back and get him to calm down a little bit on the mound?
Yeah, just try to get him to not think about the situation. Obviously, he, you know, blew it up more than it was. You know, it's just a spring training game right now, but you know, obviously it's his first time in big league camp and trying to make a good impression. But you know, nerves got to him today, but it's a learning experience for him. You know, he could just kind of laugh it off today, learn from what he did out there, and then his next time out, go out and do what he does.
Chris, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Send it back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you very much, Meredith, and thank you, Chris Stewart. Learning curve for some young pitchers. Can learn from that guy, a veteran catcher behind the plate.
Yeah, that's true, but it would be hard for any youngster to laugh off a situation in which he kind of struggled in the first inning. Speaking of Nick Turley, who, by the way, spells his first name N-I-K, and if you're going to be a pitcher, you might as well have a K in there.
See what you did there.
Yeah. It's still early. It's a long season.
Flores taking his lead off of first base. Cito Culver up at the plate. Took over for Jason Nix. He swings and misses at a Steve Johnson fastball for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th. Culver slick with the glove, needs to work on his offensive game a little bit.
Johnson out of St. Paul's School in just outside of Baltimore. It's where my son Justin graduated from. few years earlier than Steve.
Bring up Jose Perella. Saw his numbers in AA Trenton last year. Ground ball pulled foul.
Yeah, Trenton was a playoff team last year, so several of their players are looking maybe to move up a notch this year. Scranton Wilkes-Barre, who this year their ballpark's been refurbished. And last year, Dave Miley did a great job. I think he was manager of the year in AAA because of the fact their team was on the road while their ballpark was being redone.
A tough situation for everybody. Perella heading the count 2-1. Flores takes his lead off of first base.
Look out!
Drive right at second base. And they're going to double up Flores. The ball was hit right on the nose by Perella. And nothing to show for it. Well, double play ends the bottom of the seventh. The Yankees still trailing 10-4. Dan Iasonia had to duck to get out of the way. Flores gets doubled up. But we'll move on to the eighth inning.
New pitcher is Preston Claiborne, and he fouls off the first pitch to Travis Ishikawa. Ishikawa's been up once, struck out, and he finds himself in the hole, no balls and a strike. 10-4, Baltimore leading. Here's strike two, poured in there over the outside corner from Claiborne. Upstairs, a ball and two strikes. Saw Claiborne pitch here on Sunday. Went an inning and 2/3. 3 hits, couple of strikeouts, no walks, didn't allow a run. 50 games at AA, AAA last year. Count is now full on Ishikawa. Which is fouled back. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Long day for Joe Girardi And the Yankees got off to a very poor start. Baltimore scoring 5 runs in the first inning. Just got off the bus. Some of the fans haven't even gotten here yet. It was 5-0. Pitch is low, and there's ball 4. Well, fans, tomorrow afternoon, the Yankees continue their warm-up for the 2013 season when they host the Blue Jays here at Steinbrenner Field. Complete coverage on Yes starts at 1 when John and I, we're right back here. We'll be in the booth for all the action from Tampa, only on Yes.
Get a chance to look at the Blue Jays. A lot of expectations for them this year.
Second coming of manager John Gibbons. I think he's got a little more talent this time to work with.
Does.
More expensive ball club. And David Phelps will get the start for the Yankees in his bid to join the Yankee rotation. He's in there against a Blue Jays starter. Brandon Morrow's got good stuff.
Had a great year last year. This American League East, Kenny, is going to be very, very interesting to watch all year long. You wonder if the Blue Jays can play as well as all their expectations. Red Sox have some new additions. We'll see how they pan out. Tampa Bay trading James Shields.
Yeah.
Wonder if they're going to miss that.
There's 200 innings.
Yep.
Batter's Christian Walker. Yeah, he fouls one out of play. I mean, Shields is like money in the bank. 5 straight years, 200+ innings. That's not as easy to replace as you think. But in a Rays situation, maybe he's getting a bit too expensive. Always liked him as a pitcher. Now he'll be pitching for the Kansas City Royals. That pitch is over the outside corner for call, strike 3. Walker doing the walk. Back to the dugout. Here's Davis. This was a center fielder. Pitch hangs inside for ball 1. Picks off the inside corner, does Preston Claiborne, and the count is even and a ball and a strike. So you find that most pitchers have that build about 6'3", 6'4", tall, lanky, or wiry. It's almost like the scouts are looking for those type of pitchers. Ground ball to the right side. Perella has it. Turns, spins, and throws wide. And Culver at second. And that's going to be a throwing error. That's error number 5 on the Yankees for the afternoon. I don't think they're going to be replaying this game on Yankees Classic.
We'll get another look here. Perella spins and throws to second base wide of Culver. Joe Girardi able to laugh about it. It's a spring training game, their 5th spring game of the year. So obviously these days are going to happen.
Is this the catcher Robinson hitting? Yep, that's who it is. I knew he had to come up sooner or later. Pitch is low, gets stopped by Cervelli. 2 on, 1 out, top of the 8th inning. Whoa. Good thing we don't have a telestrator today. The number you would circle. 5 errors. 2 in the first inning. Got things off to a rousing halt. How about it? Robinson reached on an error. Perella, should say the first baseman Roller comes up with that one. Ball was hitting Perella's direction. Roller cut it off for the second out of the inning. And here's the shortstop. Marin will come to the plate. Claiborne misses outside. That's a good fastball. 91 miles an hour. Down and away. Adrian Marin. Been up once, has a base hit. Scored a run. Broken bat roller towards the middle of the field. Culver coming on. Throwing on the run. Man, nice play, and he got it. Culver is known for his glove, and he shows you why. Baltimore does not score in the 8th inning. They leave 2 men on. 7.5 have been played. 10-4 Baltimore. Bottom of the 8th inning. Joe Girardi on your left, Buck Showalter on your right. Two managers saw their teams play 23 times last year, including the playoffs. The Yankees winning 12 and the Orioles 11. It was that close, including the 5-game division series. Pitch is low. The Yankees won that 3 games to 2.
That last one was a big one.
Yes,
12th win.
Kyle Higashioka will lead it off. And he fouls one back and out of play. CC Sabathia went the distance in that Game 5 at Yankee Stadium. Swing and a miss. Steve Johnson goes upstairs for the strikeout, his second strikeout. This is Game 5 highlights. You mentioned Sabathia started. Dealing. That's Adam Jones. Matt Wieters. Orioles came close though. Nate McLeod missed it by that much. Some of the Orioles, including Mark Reynolds, who's in Cleveland now, thought that was a home run. But we highlighted it, and the ball was definitely foul. And Sabathia went on to go to distance. Here's the final play. And the Yankees who advance to the championship series where they didn't do much at all against the Detroit Tigers. But a hard-fought series against the Baltimore Orioles. We mentioned of the 23 games, the Yankees won 12, and that was the difference at that 5th game of the division series. Sabathia, 2 starts in that series. 2-0 with a 1.53. Swing and a miss. 2 down for the Yankees here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, CC really the difference in that series, but I mean an entertaining series in the fact that a couple of extra inning games right in the middle of it. Baltimore gained a lot of confidence last year. We'll see if they can live up to the expectations again this year.
Here's Tyler Austin getting his first at bat of the day. We mentioned he should be at Double-A Trenton this year as they make another run at the playoffs. That pitch is high from Steve Johnson, ball 1. You know, one thing about Baltimore, though, they had Mike Messina at one time, and they let him go. They didn't want to pony up the cash, and he signed with the Yankees. Did very well in his Yankee career. And the Orioles still haven't had a #1 pitcher of that mold since Messina left. And if you're not willing to pay, those pitchers making money that Messina was in those, they're making even more now. So if you're going to have a legitimate #1 pitcher like Sabathia or Justin Verlander or Jared Weaver, it's going to cost you about $20 million or more. So, and that was the difference in that series, that type of pitcher. Now they might be adhering to the grow your own theory, which you know, could work if you come up with a pitcher like that. We mentioned we saw Dylan Bundy today. Bouncing ball is foul, and nice stop by Robbie Thompson.
I guess the blueprint is the Tampa Bay Rays, right? Draft and develop young pitchers coming through your system.
See, the difference is that all those years that the Rays are finishing down in the pack, they were getting those very high draft picks. Now they're a better team. They're not quite getting those guys, but they do a good job of scouting and developing. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's hit in the right field. Coming on is the right fielder Webb, but he's not going to get it. He's going to drop in for a base hit. So Tyler Austin makes the most of his at bat of the afternoon and gets a base hit.
Yeah, we saw his numbers in the minor leagues, over 300, drove in 80 runs. The only way you do that is with a solid approach. He gets jammed on this, but fights the ball off the other way.
Yeah, for those fans in the Trenton area, it might be worth it to go to the ballpark a few times to see the likes of Tyler Austin, Mason Williams, Slade Heathcott. That's a strong outfield. First pitch is high to Adonis Garcia. While Heathcott was in there, he went 1 for 3 with a run scored this afternoon. Swing and a miss. It's a ball and a strike on Adonis Garcia. We mentioned that young man grew up in Cuba. Affected, came over to the United States. Now finds himself in the Yankee system. Ooh, look out, that's inside. Put him in the spin cycle. Ball and 2 strikes. Make that 2 balls and a strike. There we go. Shadows starting to creep up on home plate area. That'll put a damper on the hitting, maybe. Pitches popped up just behind home plate. Robinson, the catcher, near the screen, and he has room and makes the play. And that's going to do it for the Yankees here in the 8th inning. They pick up a single. Nothing else. It's on to the top of the 9th. We're here. 10-4 Baltimore. Well, Friday night, the Nets are back at home at Barclays Center to welcome Dirk Nowitzki and the Dallas Mavericks. Coverage on Yes starts at 7:30 with the Verizon Fios pregame. And Ryan Rucco and Greg Anthony have all the action for Brooklyn only on Yes. Nets, hey, who knew that Ted was a Yankee fan? Did you see that movie?
I did not.
It was entertaining. It didn't win any awards, but it was entertaining. Ryan Pope. He was at Trenton last year. 66 strikeouts in 64 innings, 3 and 6 with a 4.64. He'll get the top of the ninth here. He'll get Rudinger, Britton, and Kelly. Ground ball towards short. Culver again. Rages, throws, and man, he's impressive at short. One down. Fans, this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
You're right about Culver. He's got some range, strong throwing arm, and some nice plays in the field this afternoon.
I was thinking with Pope coming on, it's about time we got some divine intervention in this game. The pitch is in there for a call strike. Here's Buck Britton. Grounded out, picked up and run batted in his only at bat of the day. The pitch is low and in the dirt. 1-1. (10-4). The Orioles lead it. 2 balls and a strike. Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Just clips that outside corner. The counters run full of 3-2. Payoff pitch. Call strike 3. I think you're in a situation now. Anything close,
you better swing.
You better swing. So Pope picks up a strikeout.
We'll get another look at it. That's off the plate.
Well, maybe not so close. 2 down, nobody on. There's a strike. Ty Kelly. This one's out of play, and Kelly finds himself in a hole. No balls and 2 strikes. I'm looking to see. Yeah, the Yankees have actually fashioned 1-1-2-3 inning. That was in the 4th. This could be their second. Ball and 2 strikes. See, in the 4th inning, Jackson struck out, Pierce struck out, and Kansler grounded out. Quick inning. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A 1-2-3 top of the 9th. Pope gets the job done. We're going to the bottom of the 9th. Yankees need a big rally. Bottom of the ninth here at Steinbrenner Field. The Yankees been trailing the whole ball game. It's 10-4. New pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles trying to close this one out is Devin Jones. Last year in the minor leagues, he had 9 starts, 8-7. Earned run average looks pretty good, 2.72. And he will get a chance to send the Orioles on their way back to Sarasota. Over a causeway, over a bridge, through Bradenton, then to Sarasota. And we mentioned that the Orioles do have another game tonight, and as we scan their bench, and where the manager and coaches said, I think Buck Showalter has hopped in that limo, head on south. Get ready for the night game. Played the Yankees this afternoon at Joe Girardi's club. Then they'll take on John Farrell's Boston Red Sox tonight in Sarasota. What'd you say, Flash? A long day of baseball?
It's a long day of baseball with a couple of drives in between.
That pitch, and you know what? They have tolls on that Sunshine Skyway Bridge too.
I think Buck can afford it. Maybe expense it.
Here's Cervelli. Been up once, had a base hit. Jones misses low for a ball. Now you've been around a while in this area. Do you remember the old bridge before the Sunshine Skyway Bridge?
No.
Pitch is hit on the ground to short. Marin has it. Across the diamond to Ishikawa. Well, they're going to cross this bridge right now. It used to be an old bridge, but what happened was when it was foggy in Tampa Bay, a lot of freighters would come into Tampa Bay and they'd hit the bridge and take the bridge out. All of a sudden, people had to drive all the way on 75. All the people who wanted to go south from St. Petersburg had to come all the way to Tampa to hit south around the bay. So they built this Skyway Bridge, which was much higher.
Yep.
Less chance of a ship hitting it in bad weather. Now there's Buck. He's still there. Here's Ibarra at the plate.
I don't think I've ever seen that. You deal with the media during the last half inning.
Well, he knows he's going to have to take off quickly after the game.
He talks in between pitches, then he checks out his young right-hander.
Multitasking. So they put these big abutments in front of these. If a ship tries to hit this bridge, the ship's going down. There's no way you're going to take this bridge out. Ground ball on the right side. Good stop by the second baseman, Britton, who drops the ball, and the battery Ibarra is going to be safe. He'll get an infield single. Good try by the second baseman, Britton. Could not handle it.
Well, ranging to his left, knocks the ball down, just can't come up with the handle.
This is cool.
And the media appreciates a little handshake. See you later.
Well, they're going back to Sarasota right now. They're going to beat the traffic if they can. Long day for the reporters, TV people who are covering the Baltimore Orioles too. Flores at the plate and takes a pitch low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Flores drew a walk his first time up. Was forced at second on a double play. Bouncing ball foul. I should say doubled up at first base on a double play. High for a ball. 3 balls and a strike. That is now full. 3-2. So, Flash, what do you take away from your first game of the year?
It's been long.
Yeah.
5 errors.
Yeah.
I like Almonte.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I do too. Ball 4. 2 men on, 1 out. Well, look at it this way. It hasn't. We both agree it hasn't been the prettiest game.
No.
But for you, it's your first game of the year. They all got to be better than this one after this.
Oh, that's the kiss of death right there.
Cito Culver will get a chance. No, this is going to be, looks like Thomas Neal coming up. No, I was right the first time. It is Culver.
Been impressed with this kid in the field. Made some nice plays. Strong throwing arm.
Well, he's got a reputation of having a good glove. They need his bat to catch up to his fielding. 2 on, 1 out. And chopped foul over by the Yankee dugout. But he's shown great range, very strong throwing arm. Hit high in the air to left field. Coming on is Rutinger. He makes the catch for out number 2. So the Yankees are down to their last out. It's going to bring up Jose Perella. Saw the catcher Robinson going out to talk to the pitcher. What can he be telling him?
We got a long ride. Let's throw the ball over the plate, take our chances. We're up by 6. Where are we going to spend some of that big league meal money tonight?
First pitch is a strike. You know, I've heard infielders tell the pitcher, this is the guy we've been looking for all day. Get him out. Ten runs, 10 hits, no errors for Baltimore. 4 runs, 7 hits, 5 errors for the Yankees. Ball and a strike on Perella. Spring training game. Turn the page. I think, if anything, that Joe Girardi, it's not so much they lost, it's the fact that it was a sloppy loss, and the 5 errors are hard to stomach. I mean, when you make that many, you're just not giving yourself a chance. Low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Base hit into center field. The Yankees are going to pick up a run. Runners will also be on the corners. It's now a 10-5 game as Perella delivers. Parra comes in to score.
You mentioned it earlier. Some of these kids get opportunities late in games. Perella, it's a high fastball and just fights it off. Every at bat for these kids at the end of these games are so important. He's rewarded with a 2-out base hit and RBI.
And he'll give way to Kylie Shioka, who gets a chance. Struck out his first time. I didn't like making the last out either.
No.
Runner will go from first to second. Perella not challenged in any way, shape, or form. So that will go as a defensive indifference. Two balls and no strikes. Level now, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ishioka. Yankees with a run on 2 hits and a walk here in the 9th inning. And you can see the difficulty for the batters now with the shade passing well in front of the home plate area. Good stop by Robinson. And the count goes to 3-1.
Robinson goes out for a little conversation here. 3-1 with 2 outs in a 10-5 game in spring training.
Swing and a miss, and the count is now full at 3-2. 90-mile-an-hour sinker. Payoff pitch. Ball 4. The bases are loaded. Second walk of the inning handed out by Jones. Here comes the pitching coach, Rick Adair. It's turned into a save situation. That's going to be it for Jones. New pitcher coming on for the Baltimore Orioles with 2 outs in the 9th inning. New pitcher is Brandon Klein. As we mentioned, he pitched at Aberdeen last year. 12 innings, 12 hits. Aberdeen is a short season club. He's trying to make short work of the rest of this game. It is a save situation. Pitcher has to come in with the tying run on deck. And Klein is in there, picks up a strike. Kyle Roller at the plate. Line drive, right center field. It's at least a base hit. The Yankees are going to get a couple of runs. Runners in the corner. It's now a 10-7 ball game. Kyle Roller with a solid single to right.
Well, these young guys getting their opportunity at the end of this game are taking advantage. Roller does a nice job staying on this fastball and hammering it into right center field. And all of a sudden, the Yankees have the tying run at the plate. One swing of the bat. Nice extension there from Roller.
Here's Ty Austin at the plate. Austin's had one at bat and he had a base hit. Not going quietly. The Yankees have scored 3 times here in the bottom of the 9th. Roller's on his way to second without any opposition. Second and third now. The all-important Yankee is at the plate. Fouled back. Good swing by Austin.
Good swing, and we saw his numbers last year in the minor leagues. A high average hitter. He has some power. Good RBI guy with 80 RBIs last year and had a nice swing at that 1-0 fastball.
Anytime you drive in 80-something runs in the minors, they don't play as many games as they do in the big leagues. 20 less games. There is a ball, and it's 2-1. Conyers, Georgia, drafted by the Yankees in the 13th round, 2010. All-Star Futures game selection. Number 4 prospect, ranked by the Yankees' number 4 prospect, ranked by Baseball America. Ooh, good swing, and he fouled it back.
Well, he got himself in a fastball count. He got the fastball, and he took a big hack at it, just fouled it off. Boy, you like everything about that swing. Nice, short, quick to the ball. Doesn't have a big leg kick. Looks simple.
Did he swing? No. Says Dan Iasonia. That's not Dan, is it? Nope. Umpires move around. That's probably Vic Carapazza.
Get a look from the side, a little slider down and away, and he holds up.
Count is now full. Foul back, and it remains so.
This pitcher might want to think about another off-speed pitch because Austin has that fastball timed. He's had good swings this entire at bat.
Oh, the shadows actually help Klein. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And that brings the winning run to the plate. Good at bat for Austin. The Yankees have batted around here in the 9th inning. Adonis Garcia will get a chance.
With a name like Adonis, Kenny, he could be a big-time hero here.
Swing and a miss. There's your off-speed pitch, Flash. The Yankees have put together 3 walks in this inning and 3 hits.
I like Garcia's attitude, though. He went up there hacking at the first one. If he got a fastball, he might get away with it, but the slider ended up coming in there.
In the dirt, ball and a strike. Klein has now thrown 11 pitches, trying to pick up 1 out. Way outside, ball 2, 2 balls and a strike. You know, we talk about how the shadows hurt the hitters, and maybe pitchers can't see home plate. Bouncing ball to third. Nice snatch by Navarro to throw the first, and the ball game is over. That is going to do it. The Yankees pick up 3 runs. They make a bid here in the bottom of the 9th inning, but the rally falls short as the Orioles win this one by a score of 10-7. And the Yankees will be back here tomorrow afternoon to take on the Toronto Blue Jays here at Steinbrenner Field. We'll have the action for you right here on Yes. Here are the totals. For Baltimore, 10 runs, 9 hits, no errors. For the Yankees, 7 runs, 10 hits, and 5 errors. Redmond's the winner. Klein gets the save. Turley's the loser. Pierce had a big day. So did Jackson for Baltimore. And you can see Nick Turley, the starter, had a rough afternoon. A third of an inning, 3 hits, 5 runs for the Marin, a walk and a strikeout. That'll do it from here at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Join us again Thursday for Yankees baseball as the Bombers take on the Blue Jays right here in Tampa. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. on the Yes Network. Once again, the final score, Baltimore 10 and the Yankees 7. For John Flaherty and Meredith Marakovitz, I'm Ken Singleton saying so long from Tampa.
Spices